Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of GeoGuessr World League. I'm Toby, I'm joined by Gelotris. And Gelotris, first of all, happy Sunday to you, my good friend. How are you doing today?
Happy Sunday, Toby, to you as well, and to the viewers out there as well, of course. I am doing great. I mean, it's a great weekend. I did host my little tournament on Friday. We had Jake Lyons hosting a tournament on Saturday, like yesterday. There's the World League today. We have you in between with your broadcast. There's so much GeoGuessr stuff going on this weekend, and therefore I am doing great. How are you?
It's a good time. I mean, I'm doing fantastic for all the same reasons. The more the merrier, as they say. And yeah, we're in a great space for GeoGuessr right now. Everyone's out there doing tournaments, doing content, all these things. It's just, it's a good time, and I'm happy to be part of it. Welcome to all viewers, whether you're new or whether you've been here a trillion times before and seen the whole season, the whole year of GeoGuessr. But for the newcomers out there, as we do with every single broadcast, let's, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the tournament, explain the game itself. It's very simple, really. It's Google Street View. You get put down anywhere in the world, and then it's up to you to pinpoint exactly where you are, based on the knowledge that you have of how the world looks effectively. And then the closer to the correct location you are when you put down your guess, well, the distance between your guess and your opponent's guess, that's going to translate into damage done depending on who is closer to the right location. But of course, this game, it would be too easy if they could just move around and find all the cues that they wanted to. So we have some different game modes in place. Gelotris, why don't you do us the honors of explaining us how they work?
Of course, here we have the three game modes how GeoGuessr can be played. We have Move, NM, and NMPZ. Move, as it's saying, you can move around. After you spawn somewhere in the world, you are able to drive down the street, go around the corner, find a little bit more clues than on your spawn point. Whereas in No Move, you are fixed on your spawning location. You can look around, you can zoom on stuff, but you will be fixed on that exact point. And with the last game mode, NMPZ, No Move, Pan, Zoom, you pretty much only have a still image, and that's all you gotta work with.
That's all you get to work with. The dreaded NMPC. But of course, a tournament, a league wouldn't work if there wasn't some kind of scoring system. So here you see it. It's very simple, really. All matches that are being played are played in best of threes, meaning that once you win 2 games, you are the victor. And if you go out and win 2-0 against your opponent, then you get yourself 3 points. Whereas if it becomes a 2-1, the winner gets 2 points. The loser gets 1 point for the one match that they were able to win. So of course, what you want to do is get that swift 2-0 so you can get as many points accumulated as possible, because as we're saying, it is a World League which has been going on for quite a while at this point. As a matter of fact, we are drawing close to the finish line, which is getting very exciting. So in a second, we'll get a look at the leaderboards and see how everything has transitioned. As you can see here, week 16 is upon us, and so far Blinky is set in first place, our reigning world champion. It makes good sense that he would be up there, followed closely by Radu, and then Consus is right behind there with MK. I mean, and you can look at the line, it's very, very close up there in the top. But really, I mean, Gelotris, it's the same for the entire board. I mean, look at Spaghetti in 20th all the way up to Captain in 11th. That's 4 points.
Yeah, that is 4 points. I mean, you did mention it earlier already with how important this extra point is, how important it is to win in a 2-0 fashion, because those little points do add up, and as you said, we are close to the finish line. Therefore, these extra points are very, very important right now.
Exactly. This is, of course, the leaderboard. As we can see right now, the players have played different amounts of games. So by the end of week 21, of course, they will all have played around the same amount of matches. It should all line up perfectly. But now let's take a look at the schedule of matches we have got coming your way today. And we have an incredible lineup of players playing. I mean, they're all great, but some of these combinations in particular really stand out to me. I mean, Zigzag versus consus, our second seed for today, is going to be exciting. But really, I mean, we can go right from the start. Lero, debre, consus, clement. There's so many good games coming your way today. Do you have any matches in particular, Gelotris, that you're looking forward to here? Maybe some rivalry between players or something like that?
Rivalry, not really, but I think the Zigzag versus consus match is really one I am looking forward to here.
Yeah.
But also first off the bat, debre versus lero. We just had the leaderboard. Lero did sneak into the top 10. I mean, Lero is on a 4 matches win streak. He did lose 1 game in the last 4 matches.
Happens. But incredible nonetheless.
Yeah,
Lindy, of
that
course,
is
a
insane.
fan favorite among a lot of the viewers out there. He'll be playing against Karania a little bit later. And, by the way, chat, as you can see, it's only half the matches that we are broadcasting, but there are co-streams going on. I'm not sure exactly who is doing them today, but if you go onto Twitch and just look into the GeoGuessr section, I'm sure you can find who are broadcasting some of those other matches. So put up multiple browser windows, put up multiple screens, have your phone in one hand, sit by a PC at the same time, watch as much GeoGuessr as you can, because there's really no better place to learn than sitting and watching some of the best players in the world go toe-to-toe in these matches. And as we were saying, we're getting closer and closer to the finish line, Gelotris, so now is really where those points, obviously, technically, they have mattered equally much all the way through, but now you start to see the picture of, okay, I need this many points to beat that guy, I need to get within that margin to get into the World Championship Finals. Now is when things are starting to get really nitty-gritty.
It is indeed. Clearly, in best case, they should have always had that in vision and should have always thrived for that, because that was to be seen. That was what we predicted. We always said this is going to be a very close thing. And now that we get closer to the end, we get it confirmed. It's just a matter of 1 or 2 points in most cases.
Exactly. As you, dear viewers, might have noticed, the music just changed, and we all know what that means. That means we are about to go into match number 1. It's debre versus lero. We've had a chance or pleasure to watch them a lot of times before, but even so, for some of the new viewers out there, Zilo, just talk to me a bit about these players.
Of course, we have debre here with a win rate of 65%, precision 59, average guess time 33. Debre is someone who got 2nd place yesterday in the moving tournament that Jake Lyons hosted. A very, very strong player. But I've mentioned the win streak from Lero, the 4 matches win streak. Will debre be able to take that from him?
Somewhat similar in guessing time, but 3 seconds on average with all the guesses they have coming through is actually quite a bit of difference. You can see they're sat close to each other on the leaderboard. 5 points currently separating the two, so this match is going to be a close one, or at least we would assume it to be, and we're going straight into it, right into round number 1 of game 1, and it's moving.
It is moving, and as I already said, debre is a very, very strong moving player. He has very niche knowledge of town names, area codes, counties. A lot of knowledge to debre, and all of that is important, especially in moving games.
Get a
Usually
big
get
bridge,
information.
Get some highway info. Good info for both of them to pinpoint approximately where they are here in round number 1. And again, I like to like to congratulate the new viewers who get here, because they're always nice to have. So as you can see, 6,000 health, and damage will be multiplied over the rounds. So as you can see in the top right corner right now, the multiplier is 1.5. It will stack 0.5 every single round. So the later down the line we go, the more damage will come through, even when some of these players are real close to one another.
That is indeed how GeoGuessr duels work. You really have to never give up. We call it a multi-merchant. When you strike back on low health with the multis, it can happen.
Love to see it. The big comebacks. I played a duel earlier today. I was down to 90 health when my opponent hadn't taken any damage, and then I got a good guess in Russia, and he lost. And I was like, yes, the comeback.
There's 2 types of players. There are players who are really happy about it, and there's players who really feel bad about it. But a win is a win.
You never feel bad. It's always feels good.
That is what I'd say. That's what I love to hear.
Exactly. Route number 2 comes to an end. Damage done in return here, Lero. Finally, I should say, 2 rounds in, getting things going. As we said, pretty evenly matched these 2 players. As we hear, ooh, okay, there's a what do you call it? A meta knowledge for the centuries. The meta knowledge being Ghana tape.
The Ghana tape, the very first clue you should learn. Very strong clue all over the country. In Ghana.
Why don't we have a Ghana tape emote on the GeoGuessr channel? Like, that's gotta be the most iconic piece of meta knowledge.
I have definitely seen it on some channels, on some GeoGuessr channels.
There's gotta be the official Ghana tape emote.
But yeah, we do need it.
But then other metas will feel like they're being cheated on because Ghana, yeah, I don't know, maybe it becomes too dangerous. All of a sudden we need 2,000 emotes for all meta knowledge there is out there. We need one of each pole as emotes. Maybe that's a bit too much. But into round 4 we go. Even the score, so at least somewhat. What are you thinking of this one?
Yeah, we are back in Brazil. We seem to have an area code there on Debre's screen. It's hidden by his map right now. I can't really make it out, but I will assume it is 12 based on where he guessed. No, it's Rio de Janeiro actually. It's 20 something then. But we will see.
Ooh,
look at
there
that.
You go. First 5k of the day. You saw Debre was actually pretty satisfied with his guess just south thereof, but then spotted the city itself on his screen, clicked up there, and that, my friends, is as big of a score as you can get in a single round. Solid 5k. You have a Debre to get us into round 5.
That is solid indeed. I mean, with an area code, a lot of players in this World League will have the rough region.
Yeah.
But players like Debre will pinpoint it down.
Impressive.
Like that immediately. And now we are in India. We have them both in the Karnataka state, which is known to have trident poles. So I don't know if we had them. That's always a pretty good clue for Karnataka.
And side by side here, even that's the issue, right? Because even when Lero is close and Debre 5k, it's like, what am I supposed to do here? I mean, I can barely even get any closer. And they are close to one another again as we get into an Olympic stadium. Okay, so any Olympic experts? Maybe there's, I was gonna say, Nakano, you get a lot of info very quickly in this round.
There, yes, and Debre got to that information, whereas Lero didn't really look on the... No, he didn't look at the writings on the stadium.
It was right there.
So he passed that one.
And that's, of course, the issue with moving, is that sometimes one guy goes down one direction, the other guy goes in the other, and then it's up to who to get the best info. I mean, you gotta say, Debre got the best info you possibly could when you literally get the massive city name right there.
Yep, it can be an issue, but at the same time, that's really testing your skills in the moving format, because that is something moving players will always check. If you are at a stadium or something like that, a sports park, there's usually some information on it.
Yeah.
And knowing that does help, of course.
For sure.
So we go back to the UK. And once again, look at that. Another 4999 from Debre. He's just on it.
I respect Lero for trying to put pressure on, but Debre is just not having it at all. He is cool as a cucumber. Nothing's gonna stress him out. And now it's on Lero to try and strike back here. Down to 1,000 once again. Trying to play it quickly here, going on the very border of Kazakhstan and Russia.
Yes, Omsk is the standard guess you have in Russia when it's very flat and very green. Like this. It's really all around that area. They will both pick it up, of course. Lero getting a little bit closer there. Just clicking downtown.
And now is when it's getting scary, because we headed into round number 9. After round 10, if no one is down to 0 health, it's the player who has the most health left. That is the round limit, is 10 rounds. So Lero now needs to either, I mean, of course, get Debre to 0, which would be convenient for him, or make sure that by the end of the next round, Debre is below 1153, which right now does not seem very likely.
It's not looking good for Lero. We have a Turkey guess. This is not Turkey.
Uh-oh.
Definitely not. I wasn't sure if it's Serbia or North Macedonia.
Regardless, though,
It's
the
one
fact
of
that he's closer.
That will definitely be game.
Yeah, multiplies. You can see Debre there. A brief moment of surprise. Even Lero's like, wait, what? How did I misread that one? But it happens again. I mean, he's playing with all kinds of pressure against him, and that's going to be Debre winning out game number 1. Incredible performance as we speedrun. We skip past the webcams and get ourselves straight into game number 2. Now, as you said before in the explainer, just it's no move. It's spinning around, zooming in and out, but you're stuck in position.
That is exactly how it works. Yeah. Lero isn't really to blame on that last game. He had to put the pressure on somehow. debre was just on it on almost every single round. Therefore, it does happen. But now they will have the same information. You don't need to worry about your opponent getting to a better sign than you are not. We'll both see the same stuff. And we have them both guessing further east in Russia. One guess closer to Abakan, one southwest of Kizil. Not too far from each other for Russia standards. But Lero, a bit closer there, picking up 668 damage.
That's the thing, right? I mean, this round with multipliers in the previous one could have won Lero the game, but not quite the case. He's going to have to try and strike back now, and good start for him. Getting 300 or 600 health, I should say, off of debre.
Indeed, and we are in Lero's home country here. We are in Australia. You either hate to see it or you love to see it. If it's
like if
your
you're Lero,
own
you have to be
country,
pretty
because yeah, unless you don't know where it is,
It's true.
it's always a bad feeling if you are wrong or clueless on your own country. But
Both
ideally,
going
he should have a
south.
rough area. They're both somewhat in between Victoria and New South Wales here. debre a bit more to the east, Lero a bit more to the west. That shouldn't really be any points. It's just 38 damage.
Practically as tight as can be. Set on each their side
Definitely.
of the right marker. Makes good sense. That tanks would be tied up down there in the south as we go south once more. This time, debre instantly hops to Sri Lanka. What's the Sri Lanka tell in this round? Because they're both there very quickly.
Yes, it's the car.
Okay.
You have the blue, white, red stripe on the front of the car in Sri Lanka, and that's specific to Sri Lanka. Nowhere else to be seen. Sometimes it can be a bit more hidden, sometimes it's a bit more exposed, the front of the car. But in this case it was very clear. We also had the yellow license plates, those tuk-tuks, lots of clues, and we are back in Australia.
Australia again? You have to imagine that. I mean, of course, Australia is a massive country, so even if you're from there, it doesn't mean that you've necessarily seen every road there is to see. But you have to imagine that Lero is getting some sort of advantage here, hopefully, for him. We'll see if he can make use of it.
Yeah, Australia is a country that gets a lot of Street View updates. You have so many new roads. Just looking back the last 3 or 4 months, it's so much stuff updating, new roads getting added to the game, and therefore there's just so much more to learn. So many more 50-50s you could miss. These areas can look alike a lot of times, especially in Australia.
Lero trying to line up the road here. I mean, debre was on the exact same road just a second ago, but he flaked a little bit further to the east before putting down his marker. Should have gone west instead, though. Both of them over 1,000 kilometers off, and of course, I mean, since they're equally far apart, it's not really going to amount into a lot of damage, but this is going to be one of those rounds that both of them are going to think back on, depending on who wins or loses, to like, oh, that's the round where I could have done it. That's the round where I could have had him. Because it's very rare to see those, like, two players of this caliber both get this far from the right location.
Yeah, that does happen a lot in Australia. The one in northwestern Australia looks very diverse, and it can look like so many other roads. It's like always a little bit hard to commit there because you're so far away from all the other coverage. Looking at this round, we are in Turkey. Now we are, and both players know it, we have the chevron.
Yep.
We have the bollards. We have everything. It looks pretty dry, arid. Not that many trees. That puts you more towards the east.
Whose guess are you liking
areas
more here?
like
Lero, very
Malat,
far
yeah.
southeast, or
It
debre further north?
It shouldn't be far north and it shouldn't be far south either.
Okay.
So somewhere in between.
Right in
them.
between the
Maybe
two.
a little bit more to the west. Yeah.
And there you go. That's exactly it. Good call on that one. We get the Gelotra's home field advantage. There's debre finally able to put a dent in the health bar of Lero, taking him down actually below him now at 4,400, coming into round number 6.
We do, and we are in Peru now. We have those black and yellow stripes on the guardrail. You see in a couple countries, but combined with the double yellow here, the Gen 4 camera quality, we have that tuk-tuk in front of us, which you also see in Peru. It is pretty green, therefore we should be more inland. more towards the Amazonas.
I like Peru for being very diverse in its landscape, but also having a very clear line of, okay, this is where there is literally no trees at all, and this is where all the trees are, instead of having it be mixed all over the place. Yep. If it's coastal, not so many trees. If inland, more the other way around us. debre gets his guess in once again, though, around where they're both off by quite the margin.
Yep, I was about to say it is easy to tell how far inland you are in Peru, but it's still such a long stretch.
Exactly.
Where areas can still look alike, whether you are just down southeast or northeast.
Round number 7, 4 times multiplier. debre, from being unable to do any damage to Lero for 6 rounds, now finds himself at almost twice the health here in round number 7, as he's looking to go towards Irkutsk. What are you thinking here, Gelotus?
Yeah, they are probably using the vegetation here. We have some birch trees, which is commonly found a bit further east into the country in Russia. And but given how hilly it is, I mean, it's a bit hard to tell because we have trees all around us, but you can still tell there's some terrain going on. And that is very, very common around the Lake Baikal there.
Let's see, debre is going to commit to the south side of the water. Lero is almost there next to him. Now considering to swing further towards the west, has 3 seconds to second guess himself. Is he going to commit? A little bit of a micro readjustment there in the end. And, well, should have committed a bit further towards that west side. That could have potentially helped him out. 1,300 damage. Now you can see, even though they're only 100 kilometers apart, those multipliers make things very, very dangerous. Now Lero is looking at potentially falling 2-0 here.
That's what happened as we go. Well, we have Samar colleges. Does that mean we are on Samar Island in the Philippines? We have debre on it. They are both on Samar Island. Yep.
Now the issue is again,
somewhat close. I mean, we have the coastline.
Yeah,
as well, so we should be on that side of Samar Island. They both end up there, pretty close to each other. Not much happening on this round.
That's the issue for Lero right now. I mean, similar situation to the previous game where he is so far behind with only 2 rounds left to play. He really needs, well, I mean, essentially debre to make a slip up or just get the perfect 5k in very, very quickly. And I don't think this is the country where that might happen. Or, having said that, maybe Chile is a challenge for debre today. We'll see.
It could be, but in this case, yeah, it is very deserty, sandy deserty, but we are on 5 times damage. So therefore, it's still a long span in that.
Was that a Peruvian flag in the distance as well?
I saw a Chilean flag, but I did not see a Peruvian flag.
You have the Chile flag there, and then further behind, it could be right on the border.
Could be.
Or maybe they just have a flag.
It up. It can. Maybe some embassy, I don't know. But, yeah. It could be.
It was right on the border. Okay, I thought I saw a flag there in the distance. But, again, I mean, 200 kilometers here. Had Lero been on point, that could have been a huge dent onto debre, which unfortunately neither of them dared to commit to. And now, Japan, but no clear eyes on antennas. What are we thinking here?
Yeah, we have those red-tiled roofs, which are indeed commonly found in the area where debre clicked. It's Chugoku. It's an area of Japan where you commonly see them. Not necessarily, but very common. Besides that, we trying to make out these pole attachments.
So what do you do if you're Lero here? Like, how, if debre is already in the right region, how in the world do you remove 3,000 health from him? You need to line up the 5k. The issue is you have 15 seconds to do it. Lero hasn't even opened the map yet.
Yeah, I mean, given that, I would assume maybe Lero will also end up in the same area.
Yeah.
And if
not,
he's
committing
then
east.
He's probably trying something, but...
Yeah. Gotta gamble. I think even if he had 5k'd this one, it wouldn't have been enough damage to get him down below him. So nice try, but debre reigns supreme, able to get himself a 2-0 victory. But you can't really fault Lero too much outside of the turkey guess in Serbia, I believe it was, in that previous game. There really weren't any mistakes made, except for the rounds where both of them had them. The Russia round and the Australia round. Again, I said it earlier, this is probably going to be one of those where you look back at it and go, oh, had I just been close on that one, that could have been the game gone the other way, but not to be.
Definitely, you take some learnings from every loss, like even from wins. In this case, it was debre winning the game, but he still did, as you mentioned, fumbled a couple of runs together with Lero. Definitely something to look back to, but fair play from Lero. I mean, it's always hard to judge a guess based on the situation, because in this case, Lero had to put the pressure on. He had to make a guess instantly. In the moving game, it was the fumble where he guessed Turkey when it wasn't. But the situation was the reason why he had to make those guesses. Yeah,
exactly. It's similar to what we saw right here, how when you're behind and there's only so many rounds left, you just got to send it sometimes. But that's that game done for now. We go into the second match of the day. It's Consus, the former world champion, going up against Clement, the Danish representative hot dog player. And here we get to see some stats. Of course, a lot of people know Consus, but still, dear and beloved Gelotris, talk to me a bit about these players.
If you don't know consus, then just look at these stats. A win rate of 82% in this league format, where only the best of the best play is very insane. So we have Clement on the other side, 46%. With pretty good precision though, 52 isn't too bad. So if
fast on his guesses as well.
At the same time, at the right time, can still pull something off. We didn't have any consus game last week, therefore we are happy to see him back play, this time against Clement.
As you can see, Clement, quite a task ahead of him in order to climb up to the stairs of which Consus has stood. But, I mean, it starts somewhere, and Clement, while he might not be the best in the world, still, last week surprised many people when he took down debre. So maybe it's time for another upset. We'll have to see.
2-1 against debre last week, indeed. And we start off... it's saying the town under the... This is actually the license plate that you can see on the side and on the top of the car. It does happen in Mexico, also in Colombia, where you also have the town.
Wait, they both have it?
But yeah, we have Quintana Roo written on top, therefore you already know which state you are.
Oh, Clement went further north last second. He had it. Then opted to switch off. Obviously, it's round 1, so it's not going to be detrimental damage come through. But still, he was right on it. But I don't think he ever saw the city name on the taxi to begin with. So didn't opt to fully commit to the city. Consus, on the other hand, quickly, I mean, as we always see him do, found the info, instantly makes use of it.
Yep, and that's also how Consus' playstyle is, especially in moving games. I see that a lot from Consus, where he really takes his time. He doesn't rush it. He's looking around and he's thinking, maybe I have the clues that I need just around me. And that was the case on that round. He didn't really move at all. All the information right there on the taxi, used that to get the right city.
Well, that sign right there said something about Polski. Does that mean we're in Poland? Well, I guess time will tell.
That is indeed right. We have the double white lines. We have some Polish language. The B-type guardrail, which is the flat type. Yeah. It's only in a couple countries in Europe.
Chat is saying around Krakow. We'll see if they're going to be right. It's actually kind of fun now that we're doing this in sync with chat and not in sync with the players, so we can kind of keep track of how good chat is at guessing, because usually they can always just sit back and go, noob casters, but now we can call the chat noobs as well. It's a good time.
Maybe I'll try to remember those who always make good shouts in the chat, so I can just read that out.
Exactly. And it wasn't too far off. Krakow around there, indeed. So good guess from chat. Trying to get those ones lined up as Clement, once again, taking damage here. Consus coming off to a really good start.
Which means from now on, who was it? It was Roquicio. Good shout. I will trust you from now on any Poland shouts. And what do we think here?
Wait a minute.
I am waiting a minute.
There's a good chance that this is Denmark. What? We had 3 Denmarks last week. I was not expecting us to get any this week. I thought we had used all the Denmark locations in in one weekend. But oh my loud, here we are. Nederby is where we are. As you can see, a lot of bus lines, a lot of bicycle lines, but unfortunately, they don't help you too much in this view. I don't think Danish bike route meta is really something that a lot of people are digging into.
Yeah, because you have the road numbers pretty ordered in Denmark.
Yeah.
So if you know, you know. I don't. Shame on me.
This is one of the ferries that go to some of the smaller islands, or from one of the smaller islands. They're both going east side. I like that Clement is looking north. Clement, rare that he gets a home field round. He was looking up there too, but not quite to be. Takes 32 damage in his own country.
Yeah, usually you are happy when you see a big body of water in countries, because that will rule down the area to guess, but Denmark just isn't one of those countries where it really helps.
Not quite.
A lot of water all around.
As a matter of fact, you can't go anywhere in Denmark and be further than 50 kilometers from the ocean.
50 kilometers is the maximum.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the maximum distance you can be from the ocean in Denmark, which is
Pretty
why
nice.
most people in Denmark know how to swim. But from a country with a lot of water to a country surrounded by a lot of water, straight to India we go here in round number 4.
We have some Hindi language here and there. It's down the area a little bit. Language is a very good clue, very important clue to know if you're trying to make a good guess in India. However, besides that, I mean, there's also a lot of information. It's an information-heavy country where you have the town names written everywhere. So if you can make that one out, it will allow you to 5k one or another country, which Consus just did, still on the flawless 6,000 health.
The 8 damage 5k doesn't really hurt that much, but still, we give them credit when they find him. Impressive one there. Consus, no doubt about it. There's Clement now trying to put a little bit of speed on this one. Goes towards the western side of Romania. What are you thinking here, Joseph?
He does. I'm not sure why, because if you see a lot of tile roofs, that's leading you to the west usually in Romania. That's where you can use that clue to put pressure on. But in this case, we didn't have it. So maybe he was just trying to get out his vibe guess before Consus gets to more information, because usually he can make more use of that.
Exactly. Into round 6 we go. Clement still alive, just broke under 4,000 health, which, I mean, again, everything considered, seeing as where they are on the leaderboards, knowing that Consus is a former world champion looking to try and go back and reclaim that title this year. Clement is faring in pretty well. Again, I mean, all you really need is one slip up and you're right back in the game, especially with the multipliers that we have now. But against a guy like Consus, you just don't imagine that happening.
Nope, not really. And we are in Croatia here, I think. With those round concrete poles, a lot of red bricks used in their architecture. The yellow town entry sign is also something we passed, which is commonly found in that area of Europe. It is quite hilly, so we should be more around Zagreb rather than east.
Consus still yet to take any damage at all. Let's see if maybe Clement can hit home on this one. Nope, not quite to be. Consus, you see all the small micro adjustments there in the end. Scanning for mountains, scanning for various locations that could help him into a better position. And once again, is in the better spot than Clement. It's not really because Clement is playing all that poorly right now. Consus is just closer on every single guess.
Yeah, really hard to get closer against Consus. He's very precise. And now again we have Clement putting the pressure on Consus, taking his sweet 15 extra more seconds to look around. Checking the copyright, he's checking the car, the surroundings. He was looking at that sign, all that in a matter of 15 seconds. And
once
still,
again, there's just no pushing him.
No chance for Clement to put down any points from Consus.
Nope, it's tough. It's tough for sure. And now Clement, I mean, back as far up against the wall as possible here, needs to pretty much 100 to 0. Consus, 6,000 health left to work with.
We have talked about the multi-merchants earlier. Let's see, Clement is in a position where he could pull that off.
Yep.
If he gets lucky in this case.
So much info on that side.
Straightforward though. Yes, we are in Austria. If Tullin sounds familiar. 23 kilometers away. I think Tulln.
Maybe you're thinking about Tallinn.
But
I don't think you want to go Baltics now.
Ideally, and I don't think you ever signed to Tallinn from Austria. Who knows?
You never know. You never know where the teleports are set up. 12 seconds to go, though.
Sure.
Clement taking his time, of course. He's really a breath away from death. As Consus here, knowing he has all the time to work with, prefers to play in this style. Let's see who's gonna get it. Clement needs it, and he will finally be able to at least just, even if it's more for emotional damage, then hit home to some extent. Consus not gonna get away with a flawless round, but Clement still has a long way to go.
Yeah, always good for the mantle to at least put some damage down the board. As we move over to this round, we are in Brazil, and if Brazil... I mean, this is very, very hard.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Maybe that's good.
It's good for Clement. It's very bad for Consus.
Yeah.
It seems like they both end up in Southern Goiás.
Last second flex, Consus. Not able to win it this round either. He needs to survive just one more, but look at the damage come through because of the multipliers. Now, one more hit like that, and Clement could turn this one around. It's round 10. It's the final one. He needs a big country. What is he getting here?
Yes, we are in the US here. I do agree with the southern guess. I don't really know if it's as far. I mean, it is very sandy and swampy. Yeah, I think Florida is a good guess.
3 seconds.
Is a good
Consus
guess,
going Alabama.
Consus
He's going further west.
Doesn't agree.
And it is going to be Consus closer.
Wow.
Distance could have been enough for Clement to win it had it been the other way around, but not quite to be. Clement felt pressured, had to go for something, ended up being off to the east. So Consus ahead 1-0. This feels like that was the whole 3-game series. This was a long game. Clement staying in it for a long, long time, but Consus, again, with the experience that he has in this game, able to come out victorious. 1-0.
And that is a relief for Consus, because especially on the last 2 rounds, it could have been anyone's game, really.
Yeah, truly.
It could have been anyone's game, so all the lead was for nothing, pretty much.
Exactly.
And if it would have been Florida, which was definitely possible, then it would have been Clement's game, so...
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Sometimes it's... And that's why when you see people that play really, really fast, when they're up against a guy that will, I mean, win a lot of those rounds, it doesn't really matter to them and their playstyle if they take 200 damage there, 300 damage there, because they know they just need that one round where the 15 seconds the other guy gets to work with isn't enough, and then that's when they win it. But for Clement, maybe had he had one more round to work with, that could have been the case, but not quite so here. Into no move we go, and what are we seeing here? Dog meta, car meta in the distance. What are we looking at here, Gilotris?
Is that a Fiat? If it is, I want to guess Italy. The lamp looks more Spanish. I mean, I have mixed feelings. It could also be Greece, because we have a
saying islands, potentially. Out on the islands, Ibiza.
It looks weird like that.
Something along those lines. Let's see if it's gonna be. It's gonna be in Malta.
Malta.
Okay.
Wow, you don't see that often.
And again,
missing a Malta round from both sides.
Yeah.
Now it all makes sense. Now the short license plate on the back also makes sense. Very commonly found in
Chat
Malta.
is as confused as we are, and I think Clement is like, could that just have been in the previous game? Could I just had that one there? That would have been my game. Not quite so though, but even so, for Clement, a nice way to start this one, taking 1200 health off of Consus.
And we are back in Brazil. Looks a bit more northern, I want to say. This architecture. I mean, places where it can look like this is Acre, but it's too flat for Acre. Feel like, but we have Acre guys from Consus. Okay, thank you for confirming my thought. Because it looks like Acre, but it is so flat. Usually you see a little bit of hills going on. And this is a very, very common 50-50. The north of Brazil and Acre can look alike.
A lot of distance in between the two, and I guess fortunately for them both, it's in the middle of their guesses, so damage will only be 1500, or 500, sorry, I should say. But again, a round where, for Clement, I think he needs it more than Consus, because Consus really doesn't make mistakes normally in that fashion. So this could have been a round where we're going to climb back up.
Yeah, I mean, Mato Grosso did make sense with the terrain, with how flat it was, but everything else did not look like Mato Grosso at all. It's a very interesting location once again in this game. And this is a very straightforward road for a lot of these pro players. It's a very remote coverage. In Canada, we have the striped car as well on all of this road.
And the snow.
With the
I guess
winter
that plays a
coverage,
factor as
everything,
well. Yeah, exactly.
yes, everything combined makes it very distinct, and they both will know it.
Here we go. Into the mountains.
We are in the mountains.
First one to get the map open.
Let's see, what do we have to work with? Double pole is interesting. That's something you see a lot in Czechoslovakia. We have them both in Slovakia, which makes more sense with how mountainous it is. Of course, in Czechia you also have some mountains, but most of them are in Slovakia.
And with that damage come through, consus now finds himself ahead. We saw in the previous game that the lead doesn't necessarily matter all that much, but now, at least for the comfort of it, consus set up by 100 points coming into round 5.
Yeah, I mean, in this case the country is straightforward to both of them. We have the locam, we have those posts, both Japanese clues. But besides that, I don't see anything. We don't see pole plates. Nope. Usually you need those plates
Clement
to make a region guess, but...
northeast of Tokyo. Let's see if
I
consus
will
follows him.
assume-
He actually does.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both out there. But again, the small micro readjustments there in the end pushes consus just a little bit closer to the target and maintains his lead over his opponent Clement. We'll see now, coming into the next round, if perhaps Clement could do something to strike back. He had a real good hit in the first round, but 5 rounds after that, it's been all consus.
Indeed. We are in South America, here, straight off the bat, with this brick building architecture, this landscape. However, I am not very certain about the country yet. It does look like Colombia. However, we don't have any yellow license plates. We have some markings on the pole, which could be something, but we have 3 cars without a yellow plate.
Is that viable information? What's said on the pole there?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that marker on the pole. There's a lot of different pole markings in South America in general.
Tell that, I mean, with how fast Clement's been playing the last couple of rounds now, really slowing things down here, means that this round, not as straightforward as the other ones might have been, at least in terms of the initial info. They both know that it's Peru, but where are we? Oh, Clement surprised by his own guess there. And he's gonna take it!
Wow.
What a turnaround! He pretty much flicked his mouse 800 kilometers further south a second ago. Maybe not 800, but close there too. And you saw when they got the score, I was like, oh wow, I got surprisingly close on that one.
From actually getting the right country to also being on it.
Wow. I feel like he can't really help but
Very nice
smiling a bit
feeling.
right now. He's trying to hold it back because he knows he's on camera. I want to be cool and all that, but there's a smile hitting behind that straight face. I love it. Good game on that one, which takes us now into NMPC. Still image is what we're playing with.
That is all we see, pretty much. An image, we have to make a guess based on it, is the Netherlands.
Oh, now they've both done it. Clement
guess.
got beaten by consus in Denmark. And now Clement takes out consus in Netherlands. Now they have one on each other. It's good. I like it.
I mean, it's also 2 countries where
Most
it's literally impossible to reach
countries.
guess. So.
And they were both in round 1 or round 2, so it didn't really matter that much. But I still, for the sake of the rivalry, I'm all for it. But now, Turkey round, at least according to what these guys are thinking, I will allow you, Geologist, to take the mic and 5k this one.
I do agree with them. Not much to work with. It looks like that's an industrial building. Looks like a barn or something. Usually that's bad because those don't have the usual architectural clues you need. But it is lush green, which puts you more towards the north of the country. Not necessarily, but more likely. Also with how mountainous it is, it can look like this along the whole span of the north in Turkey. Therefore, it is very, very hard to pick on a side.
Yeah.
Ideally, they should go somewhere in the middle to cover how. And it is the spring coverage in Kahramanmaraş, which I always miss. I've never gotten it right. It looks like the north down there.
Well, consus got debated by that one. Clement, fortunately, a bit closer on it, will get out victorious as we go into round number 3, which looks like border territory, at least according to Clement here.
Not much to work with. I don't know if we have double blues on the license plate there. If so, then the country should be Italy. Just outside Milan, and Clement very, very close there.
Once again, Clement 3 rounds in. I know the game is far from done, but flawless so far. Maybe the Peru round that got him to this position has got consus a little baffled. Now, though, into a desolate, desolate place we go.
We do indeed. Not much to work with here again, but I would say it looks like Bolivia, Peru. One of the two, maybe.
Sounds like a lot of damage to me.
Landscape does look like I can't pick a side.
You gotta commit.
Front. We are looking at the front of the car, I assume.
Clement is currently zoomed towards the border of Paraguay, but now back towards La Paz. Okay, makes more sense.
Yeah.
At least according to what you've been saying and where consus is set up.
Yeah, usually if you have a no-move format, you can look back, and in Bolivia you usually have a little smudge on the back of the camera. But now we don't see it to confirm it.
10 seconds.
Which country it is, but let's see. I don't know the road. Therefore, I prefer Peru because Bolivia has very limited coverage.
They're both sat right around the same position. This could have been a repeat situation for Clement had he been able to just flick up towards Lima and actually win the game in this round. That would have been insane. Completely scripted.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Peru is another country which is just so hard to reach and guess. We have seen it earlier on the match
it's
with
the
debre
fourth
and
Peru
lero.
that we get as well, where there's been quite a bit of distance to the guesses. Consus now looking towards Denmark. I'm not sure about those fences in Denmark on the left side.
Is it concrete?
It looks like a wooden pole, no?
Can't tell.
I'm not even sure about the trees in Denmark.
Can't tell.
Maybe Consus knows my country better than I do. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because he's a world champion, so I'm not gonna try to battle him on it. Also, there's a big rock there. Not a lot of rocks in Denmark. At least not on Zealand. Maybe it's on Holm then, like southeast of Sweden, the small island there. But I don't think it's Denmark. Clement is still looking down towards Germany. He's all the way down in southern France. This is going to be game.
Interesting. Bit of vegetation looks a bit more southern.
Oh, and he's right! Clement, you can see it on his face. So excited, so happy. He takes down the former world champion. Clement, the underdog, has done it 2 weeks in a row.
What a story we have here. From Consus being almost not beatable at all on the moving game, being very dominant.
That's insane.
To the no-move game, where it just came down to the Peru guess, really. And now we have the NPC format, where you just have those locations you're put in a forest. What really do you have to work with here? It comes down to a vibe guess. Maybe the vegetation looked a little bit more southern in that case, which I guess is the reason why Clement guessed France. However, the rockiness and the way the road was built looked a bit more Nordic. I think that's what Consus did take into consideration. So really, really hard to tell. But Clement was right when he had to be right here.
What a wild finish that one. Of course, that game was a bit longer, so the other games were able to get finished up. In the meantime, Zigzag able to 2-0 Swan Gambit, and Captain got 2-0'd by Fennep. That's impressive performance by Fennep. We've seen Captain playing incredibly well recently. But for the next game we're going into now, it's Consus up against Zigzag. So after that defeat, Consus now has to fully mentally reset and get ready for another very, very difficult opponent in Zigzag, who on the contrary is coming into this match with a swift 2-0 against Swan Gambit, feeling as good as can be, you'd have to imagine, for the match to come.
Yeah, Zigzag had one game last week. I watched it. It was against Kent, where he also managed to pick up 3 points. And today also only one game. So he doesn't really have that many games lately. Maybe more time to grind.
He's gonna have a zigzag week at some point.
Yeah.
It's just only him playing. But as you can see, the leaderboard's been updated. Zigzag able to surpass Harrier with his 2-0 win. Debre also flying further up the leaderboard. Venip 2 climbing up there after his win against Captain, who he's now actually closing in on. Now there's just 1 point separating the two. And then Clement as well, with his 2 points, able to fly up 3 spots on the leaderboard. Now in that 40-point bracket, where you can see, I mean, one more, a 2-0 win for Clement now in the game that we're seeing after this one. And all of a sudden, he's set in the top 20.
Yeah, that can happen.
He'll be flying
very
up 10
quick.
spots in 2 games.
Hey, it's a matter of literally 3 guesses.
Yep.
I think it was 3 guesses that made Clement win this game.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, we say that, but it's also being able to stay alive for long enough to actually get a chance to make those guesses, right?
Definitely.
And that's where the multipliers come in, because consus couldn't, let's call it, get rid of Clement earlier, because he was always able to be close enough to stay alive. Then that that got us into the danger territory, which is high multipliers.
That is a part of the game, a part of the reason why these comebacks are possible.
Yeah.
And we do need them. We do need them from time to time. Otherwise, it would be very boring to always see the same people at the top. Isn't it right?
True. Now, of course, we've seen the leaderboards. We've seen matches being played already. We will have a lot more of them coming your way. Don't you worry. GeoGuessr is Sunday. Sunday is GeoGuessr Day. And, of course, all these players, what are they playing for? What are they vying for? Well, for starters, we have the regional majors announced. The first one is going to take place on May 18th in Tokyo, in the Tokyo Tower, which is insane. That's the APEC qualifier. And then you have the Americas qualifier, or the Americas major, I should call it, will be taking place at DreamHack Dallas. And then the EMEA major taking place at the Glitch Gaming Festival in Jönköping in the middle of June. And of course, they're all trying to qualify for the World Championship Finals, which will be taking place in Copenhagen from August 29th to 30th. You can go over to geoguessr.com and get your tickets now. You can do that. Also, if you want to increase the prize pool or help increase the prize pool, all the money from the Twitch subscriptions that come through go directly to the prize pool. So if you want to see a stacked prize pool, go over, subscribe on Twitch, get some cool emotes to work with. And on top of that, not only do we say thank you for supporting the prize pool, but you become you get a ticket in the raffle, where every week we will give out a GeoGuessr goodie bag. You can get some hats, some pins, some shirts, a lot of cool stuff coming your way. So make sure to check your DMs if you are subscribed here on Twitch. Check your DMs, because the moderators here on the channel will reach out via there. Make sure that you have your chat open. I can tell you that from this week, the winner is Night Gaming 2020. So congratulations, Night, if you're here. If not, then hopefully you have checked your DMs, because you could be the winner. And then, again, everyone that's subscribing now over the week, we will draw a winner for next week. So a lot of cool stuff. As you said, Gelotris, in the beginning of the show, it's just a good time to be here. There's so much GeoGuessr happening. I mean, it's insane. Just for me, I mean, sitting, knowing the schedule that we're going into now with the majors and everything, thinking of now to August, it's just GeoGuessr galore.
If we just look back at the weekend, I already said it. It's 3, 4, 5 events happening just in a matter of 3 days, and there's so much more to happen, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Exactly. It's amazing. It is amazing. It's a great place to be, and we are very, very happy that all of you are out there enjoying it with us. Again, I mean, I said it last week, but I'll happily say it again. It's so amazing to see, chat, how whenever a new person comes in, because we do get a lot of new viewers all the time, which is amazing. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. But as soon as someone comes in, doesn't quite know what's going on, ask some questions, instantly they get bombarded with everyone wanting to help, to explain stuff. It's amazing having such a supportive community. So claps in the chat for yourself, guys. You are all amazing. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to get ready now for the next match coming up. It is 2 titans of the game that are about to go battle one another. We just saw Consus get defeated by Clement, and now it's up to him to try and take down the grinder, who is Zigzag, the man who plays 25 hours a day of GeoGuessr, can he do it? Can he turn around from defeat and take down the Australian master here? What are you thinking, Delotrus?
Pretty much. I mean, as you said, we have two titans here. We had them already playing in the World Championship in 2023. I've played actually against both of them in the World Championship 23.
Yeah, true.
I had Consus in my group. I had to play Zigzag on the knockoff. So I definitely know how it is to play against them. Now they play against each other. And look at these stats. Very strong from both sides. I mean, the 60% on Zigzag looks kind of small compared to Consus. But 60% win rate is a very strong win rate. Consus is just a different breed.
But it goes into what we saw in the previous game as well. 12 seconds difference in average guess time. That is massive. We have seen Zigzag over the course of the World League really starting to guess faster. And I was just going to say he's probably going to insta-send some rounds here too. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So Consus, I mean, I feel like Clement a couple of times tried to put pressure on Consus. This game, I feel like Zigzag is going to be doing that literally the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good clue for Hungary was the tall sign. Call it tall sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit, as I already said it, a bit taller than in other European countries, and Hungary is kind of hard to reason as. Therefore, a good way to pick up some points from Consus, where you take that precision away from him. So we move over to this round. Very interesting. What do we have here?
A rare foggy round. I feel like usually the coverage is not obscured by the weather, but this one is.
Yep, Google usually does take that into consideration when taking the footages, the weather. But if it just looks like that for a whole month, then you just go for it.
Not too much you can do about it. Zigzag will get the better guess in Colombia. Damage done to Consus. Able to even things out as both of them go out of the potential flawless game 1. And now into round 3.
Let's see, double white should put us into Chile here, combined with the landscape. We have Zigzag having a pin down already. Usually on moving games, if you see a player putting a guess down, it means they don't want to move any further. And that actually happened with Zigzag here.
Yeah.
It's not moving anymore. Just putting down that vibe. They're actually pretty far from each other.
Yeah.
Especially for Chile standards, but it's just in between them a little bit closer to Consus though, which will allow him to put down 624 health from Zigzag.
And again, the faster you play, I feel like the less you care for the small point gains. You're waiting for the big mistakes from your opponent. Which, again, with an opponent like Consus, Zigzag ain't gonna get those easily. But we did see in the previous game that they do happen every now and again. So, now though, not as fast as we've seen in the previous rounds. 15 seconds already gone off the clock. Now, Zigzag in with the guess.
Yeah, but again, Consus takes that extra time to get better signs. Zigzag only had a town entry signs. However, Consus also has a road number now. He's scanning for the 66 right now. It's a pretty hilly landscape for where he's scanning, but it was
right
just
on the border.
The hills north of Budapest.
Yep. Right country for him. On the border there. Zigzag shaking his head, shaking it off, getting ready for this one. Into the next round. Every round could be the winning one. This round 5 is upon us.
Yep, I think that's really Zigzag's strategy, to get into those high multis and pull it off there somehow. That's a mistake I did when I was playing against Consus. I actually tried playing moving.
Giving him too much time.
Though if it's not my mode, I try to actually move.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. Therefore, I like Zigzag's strategy here.
Something we see a lot of time, where the faster you get the guess in, the more you kind of force the moving game to become a pseudo no-move game, because there simply just isn't time to go around and get in. We've got to get that map open, we've got to get ready. And, well, right now, Consus is doing a good job of staying ahead, but as we were saying, really ain't about the small gains here. It's about that big swing that comes when the multipliers are stacked up.
Yes, indeed. And have a Sweden round here with short dashed lines. Zigzag again putting that pressure on, and consus again getting very good signs. We have Karlstad here, a very big town, he's on it. However, it's 233 kilometers away, so he should guess way further from it than he is. He does do that little adjustment, ending up very, very close. And that will be enough to make the game. Zigzag did try to guess a little bit north where you get this winter coverage a lot.
That's the danger.
It also happens in the south. That is a danger, but it's also Zigzag's strategy. He knows that's not only against consus, that's really a strategy I've seen from Zigzag a lot, where he just tries to get the moving game over and jump into the moving games he's more confident with, which is no move and definitely an MPZ.
For sure. It's the danger of getting those quick guesses in, where just one click down the road can be the info that you wish you have had when you put your guess in early. But not quite to be this time around. Consus takes game number 1. But remember, so did he against Clement just moments ago. And still, Clement came out and won 2-1. So Zigzag can still definitely turn this one around as we get this next game underway. Were there any rounds in particular outside of this last Sweden round? Were there any rounds in particular that stood out to you in this game?
Not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't say. I mean, most of the time it was really straightforward. We didn't have those rural rounds. I mean, we had, but there was still some signs around it that consus did get to. So, yeah, not much to say about that game. I would say it was a very standard game.
Straightforward.
Yeah. Where we had...
Are there any? I'm trying to think, because obviously, in terms of, let's call it modern day, or present day GeoGuessr, I feel like MK was kind of the player at the World Cup last year that really showcased the fast play style strategy. Is there any in between? Like, I feel like it's either you're a fast player or you're a slow player. It's hard to do in between unless if you kind of jump back and forth between the two as we get this no move game started.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people maybe always decide which playstyle to use depending on the round.
Yeah, and who they're up against.
It's also when you're like a little bit more inconsistent and have some countries where you're very good at and some countries where you're really bad at. That will always get you to a situation where you have to judge how to play based on in which country we are.
Yeah.
And now we are in Turkey, and this is a
5K
country where I'm definitely stand fast rather than move around. I don't want to give my enemy any time to make a guess. I think that's around Balak is. I like Zigzag's guess. I like consus guess also. I feel like it's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
See.
Close to one another.
Not at all.
Further towards the southeast. Still though, within the range. As 283 damage will be what starts us off in this game of no move. Zigzag off to the best start here. Getting into round number 2 now.
I'm not sure if we had the car visible there or not, because that's also a clue you use to make a region guess in Turkey. Because the region where it actually was should have antenna. So I don't know if they just saw it wrong, and me as well, or if it was just glitched. Does happen though. Now it is very clear that we have a red car. This clear red tint won't fool us. It is Ukraine. You can also see it a little bit in Belgium. The red car. You can see it a little bit in Victoria, around Victoria in Australia. But if you take a look around, it should be crystal clear that we are in Ukraine out of those 3 countries. Making a region guess here might be a little bit hard. It's a little bit more
quite a bit of distance in between him.
Yeah,
Consus continuously goes east side of Kiev or further away. Zigzag is all the way over towards Lviv. We'll see who's going to come up victorious here as Consus. A rare first guess for him. It's actually all the way east side, all the way over towards the Russian border.
Yeah, I mean, it looked a little bit more hilly, which is the reason why I like Zigzag's guess. However, there's a lot of niche meta in Ukraine. We had a little bit of a tilted antenna there as well. Could be a clue for the northeast, maybe. Maybe that's what put him more towards that side. I don't know.
Wow. Consus averaging almost 4,800 in this country. That is completely insane. Of course, it doesn't have to be within that many guesses, but still very, very impressive track record for Consus.
Even if it's one guess on no move in the Philippines, That's a very strong score, indeed. Because this country, as you can already tell, I'm silent. I'm not shouting any island. I'm not shouting any city, because it's very hard to region guess. The more palms you get, the more it's putting you towards the eastern side, southeastern side of the country. But it's a very, very
not a whole lot of info to go by
clue
here.
to use.
Yeah, exactly. Can't quite see out there in the distance. Consus jumping around island to island. Should have stayed down on the south side, though, because it would have been a lot more points come his way. Unfortunately, not quite the case. So only 80 damage will be done in a rare round between these two that took it all the way down to the 0 marker.
It's really hard to commit for a guess, because I feel like if Consus was playing on his own, just chilling at home, playing some games, he would have probably sent down there. But in a duels format, you always have to consider the risk factor on your guesses. As we move over to Italy round, we have those short plates in the front. Very Mediterranean looking as well. It doesn't look too far northern. I mean, it's very mountainous, but this should not be the Alps at all. Especially with the architecture, looks a bit more inland.
Just south of Florence in this one. We'll see if Consus opts to follow suit or stick further south, which is where he is right now. Not too much distance in between him, but still some. He could have gone even further, though, because, once again, both off by a bit. But with the multiplier stacking, that's starting to hurt a lot more now. 1,000 damage done to Zigzag, putting him over just half health left remaining. Consus still, I mean, barely even touched in this game so far.
Yes, but this will give him some potential to lose health, because it is India. We don't have a lot to work with here. Very, very red soil is kind of interesting to me. Might put down a couple regions that are possible with the landscape, because it does look kind of distinct. But you will just catch me guessing middle here. I am keeping it honest. We have the box. Is it a box car? I'm not sure. Which puts you more towards the west in India, but yeah.
I feel like this seed, I mean, these 5 rounds in particular have been incredibly difficult, seemingly for both of them. And we know Zigzag likes to guess fast, but these rounds alone is going to increase his average guessing time by quite a margin. There really isn't a whole lot of info to go by. Both of them now looking towards central India, whether it be a hedge to kind of avoid damage, or whether it be a commitment to set region. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, both of them off by a bit. And Consus closer once again.
I don't know if it is in Goa or just outside. Because usually Goa is very recognizable.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it looked nowhere like Goa, even though it was
so
in there or around there.
They both just saw the Alto sign and instantly looked down at the front of the car. What were they looking for there?
The car color. Because Alto means we are in Mexico. And Mexico has a lot, especially in Gen 4, which is this camera quality. In Mexico, you see a lot of different cars. They have a striped Google car, they have a black Google car, they have a just blue Google car. So, based on that, these players can remember in which parts which car did do the coverage.
Did the coverage, yeah.
So you can rule out a couple states with that, or
Makes
regions
sense.
within states, based on which color car we have.
Makes sense, as we now see the guesses come through once again, but equally once more. Off by quite the margin.
Rounds? What are these rounds?
They're crazy.
I cannot blame them at all. Not at all. Not
Were you down there as well?
I was in central Mexico, definitely.
Yeah? Wow.
Not north by any means.
Wow. Okay, Consus now. I mean, let's see if we can live up to the 4-8-4-8. As these rounds have proven to be quite tricky thus far. This to me just screams Middle Earth. Are we in New Zealand? Yeah, we are. Okay. I didn't even know. I was just looking at the nature. I was like, yeah, I could see Aragon run over that hill. That makes good sense to me.
Yep. Especially based on the vegetation. Like New Zealand is very distinct. A lot of unique palms and plants in general.
Well,
let's see, we have a very far south guess from Consus. Where did Zigzag end up? I didn't catch it. He's in the north. He is in the north, and it was indeed south. And Consus did hover over that island east of Christchurch, but it is over nonetheless. He will get the win. Consus will definitely, again, pick up the win, but a round he will look back to. A couple rounds they will both look back to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we had a lot of blunders, but I don't even know if you can call that a blunder. Just very, very hard rounds they were faced with.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very difficult game between these two players. But of course, I mean, when we have some of the very best players in the world, it's always good to see them challenged to the best of their ability. And yeah, I mean, as you're saying, good round for Consus, I think. The fact that it goes away with 3 points and it being a 2-0 could have easily gone 2-0 the other direction. Could have come out in multiple different ways. So the fact that I think maybe coming into the day, Consus had a hope that he would have beaten Clement. Maybe with a 2-0 and then have a tougher fight against Zigzag. Turned out to be the other way around, at least in terms of the points that he comes off with. But still, for the player like Consus, being able to get 4 points in 2 matches is it's a pretty good going. But what a wild round. I mean, when I have even you sitting kind of lost for words for a bit going, wait, what? It's good to me because I'm obviously not at any way as good at the game as both you or any of the players here. I'll probably half of chat too, but it's amazing to see that when you guys are getting challenged as well.
It's good and bad at the same time, because usually if you, I don't know, if you play a game a lot, if you thrive to get good at it and you really grind and get faced with locations that just aren't possible to guess,
yeah,
it really sucks. It really
does.
It is very demotivating, because all that grind just to get faced with a location that doesn't have any clues to work with.
Yeah.
But it does happen from time to time. It is all about consistency, and speaking of consistency, look at these stats. A win rate of 61% and a precision of 58%. 225 guesses with 4.5k or above on that side.
That's insane. Absolutely impressive. Captain playing really well right now. But Clement as well, especially with how he played in that previous one against Consus. Should be coming into this one as motivated as can be. We saw after the win against the former world champion that Clement was jumping out of the chair to an extent where his headset almost fell off. We'll see now if he can get himself even more points. Because if he can get, I mean, surprisingly, but should he be able to get himself a 2-0 win here, he would be skyrocketing up that leaderboard. So let's see now, the Dane versus the Swede. How this, even if they aren't rivals, the country, plenty of rivalry in between the two.
Yeah, and also rivalry in terms of their playstyle, I would say it is very similar. Captain and Clement, I would say their playstyle is, as I mentioned it earlier, I think they always make it depending on the round, whether to play it out quick or slow. So those are players who are like always adapting it towards the round. Now, in this case, Captain was a little bit quicker with it and also closer. Region guessing Copiapo correctly. I mean, we had some science, he just made a good usage of that.
Definitely. Let's see here, coming into round number 2. Into the woods we go. Good thing for these guys is that they can move around if they want to. Hopefully there's a sign somewhere around the corner. What are your initial hunches here?
Yes, I thought France, maybe. A bit like it in first glance. It's saying Via though, so we are in Italy. Yeah, the sign is also Italian. A lot of poplar trees. Does make sense. I don't know if they will get to good info in the 25 seconds.
Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot available.
No, doesn't look like it. By the time you are down this hill, the timer is already gone. So therefore, I think they will both be forced to make a vibe guess here rather than making their guess based on information they saw on signs. But you have still the landscape to use with. A lot of oil of tree plantation puts you a bit further south towards the country, not necessarily far south.
Definitely. Clement slowly kind of clicking his way further up north, and he could have kept going for a bit because he got really close on this one. Impressive guess, considering, as you were saying too, how little they really had to work with to like get the exact pinpoint down. But after a tricky Italy round earlier, maybe that's what Clement needed to to kind of reset his Italy brain.
Yeah, definitely. He did do way better on this one. Getting very close without any information given besides the landscape. And now we are in the Americas. It looks like the US to me. We have some highway signs down there, I think.
Always convenient.
No, it's a it's a big transformer on a pole. Never mind.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough.
I mean, it looks like we are somewhere in Appalachia. We have some mountains. This vegetation looks east rather than west US. In the west you have taller trees, taller pines.
Clement,
Usually.
Tennessee right now. Out towards the east, almost on the borders of North Carolina. We'll see if he's going to get it. Not quite so. Captain this time around, closer to the target. As he almost does repeat damage. I mean, I think Clement had just over 800 damage done to Captain just before. He's going to do the exact same now in return to get back that lead. So we're going to round number 4.
Round number 4, and once again we see this red Google car in Ukraine. We should be with that. And yep. Never mind, it's black. I thought it's red for a second. And we are in Russia.
Bamboozled.
I think it was the braking lights. Just shining red.
They do what they can to fool you.
That's possible.
Let's see. What are you? I mean, early hunches here. There's a sign for Captain to work with. Should just be the one city next to him. Yeah, exactly it is. Which doesn't look like a city big enough to be viable. But maybe something here, though.
Be far west, though. Not familiar with these towns on the sign.
I mean, Captain instantly got his map up as soon as he saw them
around
too.
St. Petersburg for now.
Now they both have the
Which does
sign.
make sense with the vegetation.
Captain is all the way down. Oh, sorry, Clement is all the way down towards Moscow. But last second readjustment sends him further north. Good for him, because that could have been a lot worse than the 800 damage he does end up taking.
Yeah, we had a lot of Baltic-looking pines there. Doesn't make sense to be in that area. Maybe also the reason why I talking myself into Ukraine and seeing a red Google car. Because I thought it looked like a bit more west.
Instantly, they both go north.
I think? Is that an address? But I would assume so, because Captain has a very specific guess. He is in... Oh, it's saying Santa Maria there. Yeah, it's saying
found the city.
Down the bottom.
There you go.
Right.
Not the
on
5k,
it.
but
And
not
then
looking for it either.
Too far away, but yeah. Clement once again. A bit more precise with his guess. Had a lot of rounds where they both end up in the same region so far, but Clement always a little bit closer, and that's accumulating right now.
Definitely is. 3.5 times multiplier. It's only getting more dangerous now as this one, the prediction, has Captain favored in this round, averaging 4,800 and more points. Incredibly impressive.
That is good stats. We are entering the town of Grazalema, and we have a road number. We are in Spain. Those A road numbers aren't too easy to find usually. So let's see if they will get to it. Both scanning along the south. Trying to find that road number, which will allow them to make a very close guess here. Captain a bit further northeast. Did change the guess to the right park.
It's the readjustment and almost with the perfect lineup as well here for Clement. Good for Captain that he was able to get the last second readjustment in, because that could have been a lot more scary.
Definitely. That was quite the distance he changed to get closer there. And now it looks like Germany off the bat. It definitely is. Yes, it is.
Highway 24.
Kiritz. I mean, its endings are very common in the northeast. That's also where Captain is scanning right now. We have the 167 road number, which is findable. Definitely findable if you have a rough region. They're looking for more information. I mean, it is very... barely visible for us, but I would assume it's also hard to read for them what's written on that construction sign. Besides that, there is not much more information we have yet. Clement is playing it safe with a Berlin guess, covering a lot of that area that is possible. Captain a bit more specific, going further north, and it is indeed further north, but he committed a bit too far. Which will only allow him to put down 132 damage on the board.
It's rare that we get, I feel like, German rounds where they go all the way down to 0, like they did here. And then, I mean, in the end, it wasn't really a whole lot of damage done with it, but rare that they end up going so far. Usually there's some info to be had earlier that gets them close enough to where they'll just lock it in. This time around, though, both wanting the exact info, and we're both equally close to the right marker.
Indeed, and now, we talked about these Google cars earlier, now we have a blue striped car. We are in Mexico again. This is another car than we had earlier. Will they make usage of that? Though we have a lot of palm trees, so maybe more coastal or south. Looking at lamps. Lamps are also a good clue in Mexico. A lot of cities have their own specific city lamps. Street lamps, I should say.
Info here. Phone codes as well, but not enough for Captain to start opening the map. Still. Nope, now there you go.
There's some information on it. We have a GeoGuessr from both of them. Both clicking bigger city, it's a bit further south. And yeah, not much happening here once again. Look at their health bars, and we are going to round 9 already.
Yep. Clement, though, wanting to, I mean, preferably get ahead now, but at least even things up. Come into this next one, as we do get a lot of info once again. Internet domains written as well. Clement instantly going towards Norway.
Yep, it is Norway indeed. We have those single yellow lines which you only find in Norway, in the Nordics. Also with how mountainous it is. Now what players are looking for is probably again a sign along the road. You very often get a road marker in Norway, which will give you the E road. I assume it's the E road. It's a very built up road.
14 seconds.
Yep, there we have it. E39 it is. If Kristiansand, which is a pretty big city in the south, and Captain does use that, he has the better signs definitely. Clement also got the road number, however the road is very, very long.
Yep. Distance in between
that
him.
would allow
Captain is going to be closer.
To secure the win here.
No,
Not
no.
at all.
No.
With 5 times damage? Okay, not that big. Maybe it was the projection of... I mean, we are pretty far in the north.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the map projection that made me think that this game that is not game at all. It's still
and now
a good amount of health. But is it good enough to stay alive once again?
Needs a massive round here now to try and turn this one around. What better country to try and get it in, not giving Captain any time to try and figure this out. He vibe guesses it. He did it the exact same way against consus and it worked. Let's see if he's going to get it this time around. There's distance in between. Okay, he just guessed an article. And GG.
Gave up.
What?
He gave up. He just assumed Captain would get it. He's 23 kilometers off. And he knew it's the round limit, you know. He just said, yeah, Captain, I know you know it. There's no chance for me to come back. You can have it.
I get that. And it was close, so fair enough. But...
He's putting a lot of trust on Captain.
This is just me devil advocating this. Clement has just beaten a former world champion by doing this exact thing.
Yep.
You never know. Like, you never know when someone's gonna make a mistake. Imagine if he guessed Antarctica and Captain was 1,000 kilometers off and won. I mean, that must have been the biggest tilter ever.
Was not sure at all. It looked like he was hovering over Russia.
Yeah, he could have easily been wrong. He could have easily been wrong. I don't know.
Maybe it was a straightforward run for Clement, and he just assumed.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. At this stage as well.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it
either. With the multipliers that you have in such a big country, I don't know. There you go. Finally, able to get back in the groove. Even if it's not going to be much damage, he is able to get off round 2 to good start.
Good guess to start off for Clement. We are in the US here. We have the US flag as well. Confirm it. Very commonly found all over the country.
I'm gonna go Mississippi.
Lots of pumpkins.
I'm just
it does indeed look quite southern with how sandy it is. We have those poplars.
Also look at those trees with the... I don't remember the names. Like those ones that Clement is looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
With the leaves that are kind of being... I don't know what you call it.
I am not
What are
sure.
those trees
Is
called?
it oak?
Sure.
No, the other one is oak. This one isn't. They're also commonly found in California. Is it an oak tree? I'm not sure.
In any case, willow tree could be correct, actually.
Willow.
Thank
Oh,
you,
we have the
James.
chat. Thank
Could be
you.
very much close. Thank you, Chad. Always good to have the forest experts out there helping out. As Clement is going very coastal down towards the south side here. And he's going to be close on it. You know what? This is actually kind of hilarious because this is a complete mirror of the guesses we had that won Consus, the moving game. It was Clement in Florida, and it was Consus, pretty much exactly where Clement was now. And then the guess was a bit further towards the west, but now they swapped positions, and therefore Clement out victorious. That was a nice little turnaround.
Definitely a throwback. We have seen that before, just today. And what do we see here, though? Not much, I would say. We have a lot of birch trees. So we assume you're somewhere more in the northern hemisphere. Besides that, we also have the Google car in the front visible, which doesn't really happen in Europe. Therefore, that would put the players towards the Americas. Now they have to decide. I mean, with all those birch trees, I guess Canada makes more sense. You cannot rule out the US, though. You cannot rule out the US. And you can already see it from Captain's marker. He's...
Yeah.
Hovering
Right
over New
border.
York, going back to Ontario again. He is in the
We're
bay.
just water hedging this. We're just putting it right
It
in the
looks
middle.
like it.
Going for a swim. Doesn't want to fully commit to it, and they're both... What?
Washington.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, does maybe make sense with the terrain and how mountainous it was. But birch tree spam in Washington is not something I've seen before.
Oh. Well, now they know, and now they will never forget. Moments like these is where you learn, and it sticks to your brain because you know that 4,000 plus people just saw it happen, and you're like, oh wait, I'm never gonna make that mistake again, or at least hopefully not. As both these guys go in to Piranha, we'll see if they're gonna be right this time around. What are you thinking?
I do agree. We, again, I'm using the car meta a lot here, but we have this blue-white striped car, which is very commonly found in Piranha, not exclusive to Piranha, but given the surroundings as well, and these tree plantations we have here are commonly found in the south, and with the car given, I think Piranha is a default guess.
Makes good sense. Once again, the timer
Not
all the way down to
100%, but
zero.
it is... Yeah, it is a default guess.
Off by big margins again, though. I mean, they're sat there together, and you were down there too. So again, we're all in GeoGuessr, all trained from the same school. So it makes perfect sense that if they're far off together. And yet another round. I mean, today has really been a day with a lot of 1,000 kilometer plus off guesses, which is usually not something we see. Of course, these have been incredibly difficult locations, so it makes good sense. It's not at all me trying to go against the players on this. It's just saying that there really has been a lot of times where had one been on, that could have changed the entire dynamic of the game.
Yeah. And that's also what I mentioned earlier. It is like sometimes you just have to go with the default because you assume your opponent will do the same, and you don't want to take the extra risk to be precise and risk losing a lot of points.
Exactly.
Especially on a round like that, where it definitely could have been Piranha. And if you just go by the chances, you, yeah.
Then you look like a fool if it was the obvious one, and then you were the one that went completely somewhere else. But the Japan round comes to an end. East side of Nagoya is where round 5 would take us, and now we head into round number 6, where Clement sitting very, very high in averages in at least what he thinks to be Argentina right now, or maybe not.
Yeah,
I for the north.
Agree with Argentina. I mean, could also be Peru.
I mean, we can kind of, given how few points he had in a lot of his Peru guesses, you'd highly doubt that his average is staying at 4.7k.
Yeah, the vegetation definitely looks more like Peru, especially those trees we have towards the north. I don't know what they're called. I don't really know if you get them a lot in Argentina.
We'll see. Clement started on the south side, now he went up here, and for good reason. Smart on him to default further north. And while he still takes some damage, it's not all that much considering that he still has a 1,500 point lead. Or wait, I should actually say more than that. 2,500 point lead on Captain.
Indeed, and what do we have here? Looks like Australia. We have a lot of eucalyptus trees. Region guessing it might be hard. We have a Tasmania commit from both of them though. Oh, I think we had a possum god on the poll actually. Which is a thing you see a lot in Tasmania. Almost exclusive.
Yep.
Forgot that we had a poll there. It was kind of hard to spot within all the trees.
Sometimes it's right.
Definitely looks
in
at
front
it.
of you. Yeah.
This
right
is red.
You don't see
Is
it.
this
Get a
red, Toby? This is red.
Red
This
car,
is
red car
definitely
confirmed.
red.
Kharkiv is where Clement is sending it. We'll see if he's going to be right. At least he's committing to it early on, Captain. It's down in points, but with round 8 and 4.5 times multipliers, this could be a huge turnaround. Round 4, he's going all the way over towards Kiev.
Yeah, he's going metal hedging it pretty much, covering all possibilities.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty far southeast.
All the way down towards Mariupol, and it's, well, I mean, minimal damage done because they're both equally far from the location. But once again, I mean, I've said it a couple times already, but I'll say it again. It's once again a location where had one of them on point, could have been game gone the other way as we now go. Maybe small islands?
Could be.
What are you thinking here?
Let's see. What do we have? Maybe we are somewhere in Southern Europe, that's for sure. I wasn't sure if it's Greece, but not sure. I don't think it is, because we don't have any Greek language. It's the car. If coast of East, yeah.
You have Captain of Montenegro, you have Clement.
Yep. That does make sense.
Dubrovnik, but he's coming further back down south again. 9
Dark
seconds.
It does fit more for that.
To make some changes here. Both of them in Montenegro now. And it will be, but way further down. I mean, I say way further. It's only 50 kilometers. Further down south, nonetheless. As Clement now in the driver's seat, in the lead, coming into this final round. Number 10 Captain needs to somehow take 3,000 health off of Clement.
Ooh, and does it happen here? We are driving on the left with concrete roads, so really the only two countries that are possible, or most likely with that, I should say, are Thailand and Indonesia. With the black Google car, you should consider Indonesia. Now, with concrete slab roads, you consider Kalimantan. It has the most of these concrete roads, a little bit on Sumatra as well. I think those are the two places where you get them the most. But given the surroundings and how flat it is, I do like the Kalimantan guess better. Now we have one east and one west though. Usually you can tell them apart by poles.
Yeah.
We don't have any here though, so they
One
can
is
only
east coast,
really
one is
guess
west.
it.
They're literally on each their side of the island here. This was going to be game regardless.
East as well, but I'm not sure.
Let's see who's going to come up victorious. It's going to be both
It
of
is
them.
Sumatra, but it is some island.
Wow.
And Clement is winning off that.
He wins the round by being 1,200 kilometers off again. I mean, this seat is insane. And it's yet another game that takes us all the way through round 10. This Captain Clement fight is, it's a long one. It sure is. First one went all the way to 10 rounds. This one does as well. Let's see what NMPC has in store.
And once again, we see both players making the default guess. I was talking about it earlier.
Exactly.
By default, you just go on Kalimantan. If it's flat and you have those concrete slabs, in Sumatra, you usually always have hills. But it was
There
just
is
some
a
random flat
GeoGuessr
island.
moderator, map maker, sat somewhere right now going, meh, they're getting all the hard ones today.
Definitely. We have some interesting settings going on today. But now we are going over to NMPZ. We have a still image, not much to work with. It looks like Russia. Why? now.
Yes, please do
It
explain.
looks like it.
Why? Because. That's why. Because. Now, if Clement... I mean, Clement has already defeated Consus today. If he is able to take down Captain as well, that would be... I mean, even if the day has been wild and they've been all over the place in terms of guessing, still statistically one of the best GeoGuessr days of his professional career. We'll see.
Look at that. Look at these guesses, Toby.
Yep, they're
one
very
far
one of them.
one very far west.
Captain all the way west, and Captain
is on it.
Point.
He is on it. Round
Good for
one.
Clement.
Won't allow him.
Good for Clement that Captain, that it was only round 1.
Yeah.
Because that would have been GG
Good for
in any
Clement,
other
bad
round.
for Captain. But definitely good to have a good lead like that starting off into the game.
So we go Russia straight into Kazakhstan route. Are you any clear regional tells on this?
I'm trying to figure out the season. It shouldn't be fall and it's not winter, so maybe central, north, or northwestern.
Okay, but still enough leeway for big mistakes to be possible.
Definitely, especially in a big country like Kazakhstan.
Yep.
It can happen, but it
So
can only
from
happen if Captain is really on it and Clement is far away.
From 2 10-round games, we now potentially end this one in round number 2. Let's see what's going to happen here. There's a distance in between their guesses right now. Captain is looking further towards the west, constantly zooming in and out. They both are. I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for. There are no mountains.
Yeah,
in the
I was
distance.
about to explain it. I was waiting for you to finish. They are looking for grids. It might look confusing for a lot of people out there watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they looking for the road? Are they trying to find that one building they're seeing? No. Kazakhstan has a lot of different grids going on in their cities. And we had a straight northeastern going grid. And they were just scanning all those cities to look for a city that has this exact grid. To, again, increase the chances of being right.
That makes sense. We learned so much. We learned so much, chat, from these pros. And thank you, of course, Gelotris, for being able to drop some knowledge bombs on us. Always amazing to increase our knowledge. And that's, I mean, someone asked in chat earlier, guys, how do I get better? That's literally what it is. It's learn meta things, incorporate them into your game, and then just repetition. Keep on playing, keep on learning, and get gooder. That's the best way to do it. Just
Definitely, there's
gooder.
a lot of ways, but yeah. There's also
seconds.
a lot to learn.
Left to work with here. 15 make that, as they're both sat down towards the south here. Close to the Georgian border, but not wanting to commit either of them. Looking for extra info. I mean, Russia into Kazakhstan, back into Russia. This seed is really being difficult. Thankfully for Clement, able to come out victorious here. It's not going to be that big damage, but still able to take Captain into danger territory. Now sat under 4K.
Yep, definitely. Being in the same rough region of the world for now into the first 3 rounds. And we go a bit further southwest on this location. It should be Jordan? Maybe?
Yeah, well, at least that's
We have
where
mountains. Do we
Clement
have
is
mountains on
looking.
both sides. We have them on that side. Yeah, I like that road. The road 65 can look like this.
Yeah.
Especially with the big open valley.
They're practically on top of one another, and for good reason.
Oh, it was the main
Clement,
road.
wow, almost lining up the 5K there.
It wasn't on the main road, but it was indeed, and Clement is right on it. It was 65.
Dangerous territory we're headed into. He might be behind Clement right now, but he's not done for just yet. Round 5. What are you thinking here, Gelotus?
Off the bat, said I wouldn't pull. Shouldn't I? Should be
Perhaps.
Greece,
I have 3
Italy,
pixels
maybe.
to work with. I'm gonna say maybe.
Not really sure. We don't have an antenna, so that puts you more towards Turkey. We literally have a ball out there in front of us. I mean, the
Yeah.
smallest pretty screen for us. It looks like Turkey, but yeah.
Let's see.
Agree. I like
Distance
the
in
Turkey
between
ones.
him. Clement. Oh, sorry. Captain is further down towards the south now. Opting to go north side of Izmir again. He was way further south. Defaulted up. Should have stayed south, though. Would have had him close up. He's still going to be the closest. But minimal damage come through here as we now go into round number 6 with them sat almost at exactly half of one another. Clement just over 2,000. Captain just under 4.
And we are in a forest.
Scotland?
We have...
I mean, Clement insta-commits to it. Captain is there as well.
Winter coverage on Gotland, and this looks wintry. I do like it. It also looks like an island with this gravel, and we have water right next to us. It is indeed.
Clement should have zoomed in a bit further. Because I think he wanted to go out there, but flicked his mouse a bit too fast on that one. Gotta change the sensitivity for a bit. Maybe it was a hitch, but I don't think so.
It could also have hedge for mainland to reduce damage in case it isn't.
True. It just looked like it was a very quick flick and lock in, but maybe I was wrong on that one. Went for a swim instead. Stays alive though, 1,400 health left to work with.
But yeah, Captain getting that island, of course, being from Sweden. As we move on to this round, this fencing on the left, these wooden sticks make me think Mexico.
Yeah.
So
from taking
buildings,
3,000 damage in round 1. Clement has somehow been able to stay alive. We're in round 7 now, and again, I mean, everything is possible. Clement could come out victorious here. As both of them looking towards Mex, but neither of them putting down markers yet. Now, finally, Captain looking Mexico City.
He's considering that Yucatan Peninsula, maybe because of the vegetation. On the left,
see,
those trees are very common there, but everything else doesn't really look like it.
2 seconds to readjust. Clement was actively moving further and further south with every click there in the end. And as you can see, had he stayed further north, that could have been game, but not quite so. Still, though, gonna tie things up in and around 1,500 points. They're now sat, I mean, with the multipliers, practically even as we go further towards the north once again.
Yep, very even, considering the fact that Captain had such a big lead. Clement did strike back.
What better than the Dane and the Swede fighting in Norway?
Mm-hmm. Looks like they're in the same ref region, but again, it's just about being a little bit closer with 4.5 X damage on round 8.
Let's see who's gonna get it. It's gonna be Clement closer.
Once again.
Not gonna be enough to pull game just exactly.
Nope.
But Captain. Oh, Captain, in danger. I mean, honestly, they both are. As you can see, it was just under 100 kilometers between their guesses, and still, that's over 1,000 damage done. Now, rough round here, potentially. Oh, one is... Okay.
Ooh,
Ecuador versus Southeast Asia.
Listen, I had this when I was playing in the World Championship in 23.
Yeah?
I was playing against Kodiak, and we both guessed Cambodia, and it was Ecuador. So
Captain locks in.
This time we have a split in their guesses, though, so it's gonna be one of them.
What are you leaning on here? Well, it doesn't really matter. It's
no,
over there.
Either. It's Philippines.
The Philippines. And there you have it. He's gonna be off by 2,000 kilometers, and still it's enough to win.
That is wow. Clement winning on Kalimantan when it was Sumatra. Clement winning in Indo? Where did he guess it? I don't even know where he did end up.
I'm not even sure at this point. What a game.
But it is
not
all
so
about
much jumping around, not so much joy after that one, because that was a marathon of a GeoGuessr game. 29 rounds in one match. Holy moly. And as much as we would say, hey, let's go to a break, we need to breathe after this one, we can't do that because the next game has already started. So we don't even get time to break this one down. But Clement taking down Consus first, now beating Captain as well. He really is trying to go back here and make a name for himself. As we now go with Lenley against Karania. As we can see, the game has already started. We're already in round 4. So far, it's as tight as can be.
And Lenley got the Basti GHG skin on today. Love to see that. It's new in the shop since a couple days. In the GeoGuessr store, if you want to support Basti. It's out there, and we start off... Oh, we're on round 5 already.
Yep.
I mean, we start off here. They didn't start off here. We are in Cambodia.
Lendy put on his speedy glasses, and we skipped the first 4 rounds. That's how fast that goes. As this one goes in between him, still with multiplier stacking already. Damage does come through. So Lendy now sat 600 points behind. Headed into round 6.
Round 6 already. Off the bat, it looks like Thailand. We have a rubber tree plantation here and very red soil. Both these combined is very commonly found in Thailand. However, we are able to move. We are able to confirm it. If it is or not. But just moving around here, it still looks like Thailand to me. We're also driving on the left, it seems like. Would also confirm it. Mostly found in the northeast in Thailand. It's red soil and rubber tree plantations like this. But rubber tree plantations are all over the place.
In rounds like this, what are you hoping to find when you move?
Maybe a road marker. In Thailand, the roads are ordered somewhat well. At least to get the right region. And they have a lot of road markers.
Yeah. On each their side of the country this time around, though. It's going to be big damage with it. Almost 3,000 taken by the current chat favorite, it would appear, as all of chat goes, Lendy, Lendy, Lendy. Good for him to have the support. I'm sure he appreciates it from all of you guys out there. So keep on spamming, keep on supporting. As Lendy gets the initial zoom in and it instantly says, Philippines.
It's saying Davao del Norte, which is, who would have thought, north of Davao City. Karania, wasn't it literally on spawn, the sign? He just moved away.
He started moving before he zoomed. Oh, there you go.
He's
Went
on
back
it now.
to start.
He's on it, and he does adjust his pin. And that's something Lenley will look back to and think, shit, I should have insta-guessed.
Had I guessed earlier, he wouldn't have seen it. Yeah, exactly. And now that he gets to guess in earlier, wonder what thoughts going through Lendy's head. They are close to one another, though, so damage should be minimal. Hands in the air. Lendy not really too happy with what he's seeing here.
No, and I can also say something about that, because I did meet Lenley on... I did meet him last week, on Saturday. We met, had a little bit of a talk, and I was like, Lenley, I don't know if you remember as well, Toby, because he was complaining during the moving round. It was in Australia, I think. He wasn't even that far off, but he was complaining all the time on the moving game. And we were confused why. And I talked to him and I was like, what happened there? Why? We were confused. And it's his internet. The images are loading very slow for him. He has a very poor internet connection. And we don't see it, because in the Game Master mode, it just loads based on the hosts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just the host internet. But for Lenley, the images do load a little bit slow. That's why he's a bit frustrated about the moving games, which is very understandable. Yeah.
Understandably so.
But will also maybe enlighten us why he is mad even though he's closer sometimes.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
As well, right now, it's not going his way at all. Karania is playing a very, very good game. Took damage in round 2, but since then has been practically untouched. Round 9 now, Lendy needs something big going his way. Needs Karania off and needs good intel early on. He's just gonna quick send it southeast side of Mexico City.
Yeah, I don't know if he used anything for that or that's a vibe guess. Karania is going further south, but it's just
right in between them, 1 kilometer off.
Damage, really. Yeah, 25 damage. With 5 times damage in Mexico.
You love to see it.
It's insane.
Love to see it. And now round 10, Lendy is going to be an Anarchic, I guess. While we're actually trying to see if we can get this one. A lot of info early on here. Once again, Bus gives you intel. But is it enough to go by or not?
Do you really want to see an Urban Australia round against Karania on round 10?
And you're down by 4,500 points.
He has to really lock in here and find the right town and
is
lock
this one
it
where
in
you go
with the
fast? If you're Lendy, I mean, it's already too late. Obviously, half the time is already gone. But would you have preferred for him to try and guess fast in this round?
I mean, he might have to try it. Soon as I have a vibe for a city, but given how far the cities are away from each other in Australia, most of the time, you can pull something off here by instantly guessing on round 10.
Yeah. Canberra is where Karania is going. Would be insane if Lendy could win this.
So I would definitely have lost here. But
they're both there.
Does make sense, yeah.
He's GGing it already. No way he can get it. Karania, as a matter of fact, almost getting the 5k in. And that's going to be Karania. taking the moving game. It's not over yet, even if Lindy comes through with the thumbs ups. It's not over yet. It's only a 1-0 score as we're going into game number 2.
Yep. Always frustrating if it goes down to round limit. But that's why every single round counts, and they have to lock in on every single round as we start off here in what looks like Brazil. Vegetation is weird. We have some sugarcane in distance. Is that sugarcane on the side? I am not sure. For Rondônia, I guess. From Lenley. You have them both in Rondônia.
Yeah.
Wasn't my vibe, but
nice. Was theirs,
They
and for good
picked it
reason. Both set up there. First round is going to go in the favor of Karania, who's hoping to make this a 2-0 game. But if we know Lenley, he's going to do everything in his power to make that not quite the case. A very capable player. Now getting himself a yet another winter round. We've had quite a few of them today.
We did indeed, and we have so much more winter coverage nowadays. Especially in the last winter. It was so many releases. And it's
Still
just getting
night
more
coverage.
and more from year to year. It's just so much more getting released. Love to see that. Or hate to see it. Because it means you
depends.
need to learn more. But they are
Exactly.
both in far north Norway.
They're
Both on the
92.
92.
Yeah.
And
For
try
good
to
reason
line it
too.
up. Yeah.
Right on point. 10 damage done round 2. Not really anything massive. Would have loved to see the 10k. This one, not quite there.
Yeah, was possible, but it's a very bendy road. A lot of curves that could have been the right one. What do we have here?
Mexico once again is where Karania is going. Has the blue front of the car to work with. Where does that send us? To go back to your Mexican
I mean,
car
the
myths that we
blue
were talking
car
about.
is the most common one, I
Okay.
think, in Mexico. But then you have to probably combine it with the copyright, because the copyright will very often tell you when it got released. So back then, let's say in 2021, a lot of the Northeast and Northwest got covered with the blue car.
Makes sense.
So you automatically maybe consider that more if you have that given.
Yeah.
But
Lenley.
it can trick you. It can definitely trick you. It's something to use with caution.
Sure. Lenley able to pull away a potential flawless here for Karania as the scores are practically tied up coming into round number 4. We go into what looks like a small power, not power plant, what do you call it? Like a power station.
Yeah, station. Probably we are in Argentina. This also looks like November coverage. Maybe Mendoza makes sense then. Yeah.
That's where Karania is at least. We'll see if Lenley follows suit. Just at a bit further towards the north, at least right now. As I can tell you, chat, we've just broken over wait, what's that number? 83,000 followers on the channel. Much appreciated. All the support, everyone. GeoGuessr is growing with every single plonk that comes through. So thank you all for being here. We love all of you. Let's get some hype going in the chat. You're already hyped for Lenley, but let's get hyped for the game as a whole. As this timer does run out. Karania went further north than he shouldn't have, because Lenley is on point with this one. It's not going to be game. We're not far enough into it yet, but that is a big, big hit done to Karania.
That is indeed a very, very strong guess, committing all the way down there. Because further from that, you don't really have coverage that looks like that. So good on Lenley for picking that one up and actually committing for that.
Definitely. Now, into round number 5. Lenley has just claimed all of the momentum as Karania looks to go south of Florence. Lenley still yet to even open his map here. Goes Italy as well. Looks to go the exact same spot as a matter of fact. And minimal damage, once again, will be the factor. But it's more pressure onto Karania to turn this one around.
Yep. Usually Italy region guessing is for me, either it's the Alps, it's Sicily, Sardinia, it's Bari, or anywhere in between that.
It's north, it's south, or anywhere else. Okay.
Yeah, like the middle span has such a long stretch where I'm always clueless where to go.
New Zealand is where Lenley is headed. We saw a game be decided on New Zealand with Zigzag playing previously. Let's see if that's going to be the case here. As Karania hovering New Zealand as well, but yet to put a marker down. What are you thinking here?
I can't tell if it's just... no, it's in the shadow, okay. I was looking if the stripes on the bollards are black, because that's region specific, but it's just a standard red one, so it could be anywhere. My vibe is also North Island rather than South Island, but on the North Island I can't really tell.
Okay. They're both up there. Vibes were correctly locked in. Little damage done in return, but for Karania, I guess it's more really about stacking the multipliers, getting those big swings possible, which we know he's capable of delivering. He would really want to get one of them now before round 10 comes through. So let's see here. Round number 7, what are you thinking?
Yep, we are back in Brazil. We have those ladder poles to confirm it. Also these typical Latin American fences, which are painted on the top sometimes. Wooden fences with paint on top. You see it a lot in Brazil and Colombia. Most commonly found in those two countries.
They're going side by side right now, but it's Lindy once again out victorious, and multiplier's actually gonna be enough.
Whoa,
okay.
That would actually be a game.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna do it, but it does. Lenley ties things up at 1-1, so 1 point secured for both of them as we now go into an NPC.
Yeah, very strong guesses from Lenley, especially in the countries that matter points-wise.
Yes.
He was very close in the big countries. He got Rondonia right. I mean, Karania did as well. But Lenley getting both Brazil rounds very close. And in Argentina, he was on point as well. And all those points combined will give him the win, of course.
So many NPCs today. It's been a wild day as we get the kaboom, head explosion, mind blown emotes out of the way, setting up for this match as Lenley setting up down in Indonesia. What are you thinking here, Gelotris?
Definitely possible, especially with this grass. What else is possible? It's pretty flat, therefore I like that guess. He's hovering around Thailand, which is also possible. I feel like it could be the Philippines as well. The sand is maybe too bright to be Brazil. If this was red soil, then Brazil would also be possible, unless it's very coastal.
Karania getting while Lindley has the chat there for support, Karania gets the cat there for support. A little smile on his face as well, I think, as he realized what just happened. That's funny. Let's see if the cat buff comes through. Cat meta could come through to help him. Fingers crossed for Lindley, hoping for the best. Wait, Karania's guess didn't come through. What?
Did he ask this blunked down?
He doesn't. He doesn't look surprised. Like normally, if there was a big error made, he would throw his hands in the air and go like, "Wait, what happened?" He doesn't seem like he even realized what happened.
I'm not
As
sure.
you can
Maybe
see
they
on the
are
screen,
double
looks like he's
checking it right
refreshing a lot.
now. Maybe they are double checking it right now. He's probably asking or getting asked what
I
happened.
thought for a second he 5K'd a freaking field. That would have been absurd.
That's the first thought you have if you don't see the other pin and you don't see another line coming out from the flag.
That would have been insane. Okay. We are going into round 2 again. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Lindy is like, oh, you know what? Okay, we're resetting. Okay. We're resetting back to full health bars.
Alright.
I mean, it was a good guess on Lindy's part.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Lindy for getting that. They didn't even consider Mexico, even though it does make sense, but I just didn't have it on my radar there.
Yeah.
At all.
Good guess on him. The cat pulled out the internet cable. Maybe that's what happened. We blame the cat.
Seems like Karania didn't guess once again, so
now it's getting.
I think it didn't get fixed. But at the same time, at least it wasn't on a hard location. They would have both gotten
into Guatemala. True.
Guatemala there, especially with the camera panning up and away from the car to hide it from the pro players.
It's the thing where when you have a black cat that walks across the street in front of you, you get bad luck. And the cat came, well, I mean, it walked across the webcam. So now Karania is suffering from bad cat luck. Which, unfortunately for him, goes over his internet connection.
Blame the cat.
It's the battle of the internet connections Oh, there's the cat again. Go back the other way. Get out of here, cat. I don't have time for you right now. I'm trying to play a game. I'm trying to win this tournament. Are we fully resetting again, or are we continuing? Let's see. We're resetting once again. Third time's the charm.
But it doesn't look like... I'm trying to make it out based on the reflections on Karania's screen.
Yeah.
Okay, he did open his map, and it did brighten up his face, so I assume he does see the location. At least he opened the map. Maybe it's a bit too bright. Maybe. I'm not sure.
I mean, Lenny is getting a lot of good warm-ups in here, but again, I mean, as you were saying just before, where the Guatemala round probably wouldn't have mattered. If Lenny gets, maybe not a 5k, but a really good guess in now that then once again gets fully reset, that would be a bit frustrating. You can see, I mean, Karania clearly hands on the keyboard, maybe writing to the admins, trying to figure things out, but we're also reaching a point where the show must go on. Lenny is sitting there going, yeah, I don't know what's happening, and it makes good sense. Again, I mean, we're not faulting anyone for this, because tech issues are tech issues, but yet another one with no guess through. Good guess on the side of Lenley. I'm obviously, me and or Gelochis, I can speak for both of us when I say that we have absolutely no say in this, and we shouldn't. We don't want to. It's the admins sat out back, very professional, to make sure that this tournament is being done according to the rules and in the best way possible. So we're just sitting here trying to, hoping for Karania to get everything going, because all we can do is kind of wait it out. Maybe, I mean, right now we're playing rounds that then end up not really mattering. I feel like right now is a time where we we wait for Karania to have his stuff fixed.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation, especially also for Lenley, because he has to... I mean, he had like 3 rounds he really has to think through. And it costs energy. It costs energy because you have to think through these rounds.
Yeah.
And it's already pressure on you.
Exactly.
To perform well, and all those 3 thought processes and guesses for nothing.
Exactly.
Is something that is kind of annoying.
So
but
we've
at the
been
same
restarting.
Time, it's nothing Karania can do.
We've been restarting rounds. I think what I heard is that now what they're doing instead of restarting the round, because apparently the bug that's causing the issue right now isn't being fixed by doing that. They're gonna restart the entire game session between the 2 players. So hopefully that can fix things. Also, I mean, if it was an internet issue, then we wouldn't get the smooth webcam feed from Karania. So that's clearly not the issue.
Yep.
So I think what they're doing is they're doing proper full reset of the game session, and then hopefully everything will be working from there on. But again, of course, it's esports. It's a big E in that sometimes electricity and tech does become an hindrance. And hopefully now, as we get into this one with thumbs up from Lindley, we're going. Sometimes 3rd time's the charm. This time 4th might be.
That they give
Lenley
a Germany location, it seems like.
Do something, Karania. I beg you.
I think it's Germany. This pavement is very common in both Germany and Netherlands. Maybe Lenley is hedging towards it, or yes, it's far west Germany because it looks like Netherlands.
The bug is still there, it seems, though. As much as I want to congratulate a good guess on Lenley potentially, Karania is clearly not playing the game right now. And it's frustrating. And I understand Lenley's frustration. But again, unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot to do about it. It's just, it's one of those things where now that, I mean, as annoying as it is being, I've seen this in many other esports before, as annoying as it can be as we take a quick break while we get this fixed, as frustrating as it is to be a player that suffers the situation like it happens right now, in a very weird way, in the greater picture, it's good that we have bugs that are within the game being showcased in situations like this, because that's when you know they're then gonna be focused on to get removed. It sucks, don't get me wrong, it sucks being the players that have to be the victims of the situation, but sometimes, I mean, it's good to have them showcased so that the team behind knows exactly what to jump in on, knows exactly what to fix. So hopefully moving forward, it's not an issue we'll be seeing again. But of course, for all the fans out there, it's frustrating, and we agree. It's annoying, but should be fixed. We'll get back into the game as soon as we can. So in the meantime, as we wait for this match to get back underway, because it is pretty exciting, we're headed into an NPC. Let's take a look at some of the other matches that have been taking place. Yannick Flyme already played. Yannick able to win that 1-2-1. Captain getting back on a good streak after the loss to Clement. Able to take Anu on and beat him 2-0. We'll get a chance to see Anu later play today. Any results here that have maybe surprised you a bit of the matches that we haven't been seeing, Geologist?
Surprises? I wouldn't really say so, no. Nothing that surprises me. Just everything going according to what you would have predicted. I mean, the Swan Gambit Feneb game is also running right now. Feneb is leading 1-0. They're in the no-move game right now. And Feneb is on 6,000 health, whereas Swan Gambit is on 728 right now. Yeah. So it could end anytime.
Yeah. And again, guys, just to reiterate, I am no expert on this, but it does seem like a game issue, not on the side of Lindley, not on the side of Karania, more of an actual game thing. So finger pointing and whatnot won't really get us anywhere. It's just a situation where we have to reset and hope that everything is gonna be able to smoothly go underway. As we look at this, I don't know if the producers can hear me, but we could potentially also take a look at tonight's games, just as we have the time to. I'm saying this now, and I can hear that the producer's like, oh no, I didn't tell him to do this, but here we go. There is going to be more GeoGuessr tonight, starting at 1900 CET, where you can watch all these amazing matches take place. Lindley will be playing once again against Kent. Any matches here that you're in particular looking forward to?
Any particular matches? I haven't really looked into evening games beforehand, but just looking at this off the bat, is there anything I'm really looking for? I'm a Trishna fanboy.
Fair.
Therefore, always happy when Trishna plays, and off the bat, just playing against Orlando. Who also played in my tournament, Orlando. Yeah. He did beat me there. So therefore, I'm much more against him. I'm much more for Trishna. No, I'm joking, of course.
I hate him now.
May the better win there. But of course, we have all those big names. We have RC playing. We have Consus playing once again. Pretty good matches to look forward to, definitely.
Fair enough. And not to sound like a shameless plug or anything, one idea that I came up with after we were done last week was that between, like, whenever we're done in just about exactly 1 hour, you know what, I'll hold that thought. I'll shamelessly plug after we're done with this match instead, as we do now, hopefully. I'm looking at Karania. There was a bit of a zoom. There was a bit of a zoom. Karania.
Doesn't look great.
I can't tell if you're looking at the screen or typing or what's going on. Move the map.
He also doesn't have this focus
Same
phase.
Issue again. Yep, there you go. He opened the other browser.
You can tell when players are looking at a round, they will have different face expressions. It's like this focus on the round. You know?
It's the instant.
I didn't see that in Karania's face. Yeah. But yeah, we have to mention this is a different client than where you usually play.
True.
If you go ahead and play GeoGuessr now, everything will be fine. And that's not the place when you play the game actually. This is a whole nother client they are running it on. That's also why these things can happen.
So while this issue is hopefully being fixed, instead of you guys just sitting in for a yap session between me and George, because believe you me, we could talk for hours on end. We're going to take a look at Sheena and Ammani playing, and then hopefully when we get the issue fixed, we can hop back to the other game. If not, though, we'll have to see how that's going to fare. But let's take a look at this match while we don't have the other game working anyway. Ammani already off to a good start here, opted to go down to Appleton, Wisconsin. Hey, I lived there for a bit in Green Bay. Good times we had. That's this one. It's all the way up north. Sheena on point.
Yes, indeed on point. Sheena had kind of a rough week last Sunday. I didn't think he had 2 games and couldn't get a win through there. So therefore he's looking to get that one this time. The red rotant probably is a good tell here for Aland.
Yeah. Both up there towards the north, not Gotland at all, as a matter of fact. Now we're both on point as well. Correct islands, 22 damage will be all that she wrote. in this one as we now get into round number 3. It's been a while since I've seen Sheena play. Great guy, very down to earth, very humble. It's yeah, it's been quite a bit since I've seen him in action. So curious to see how he's gonna fare here against Ammani.
Oh, I was a bit surprised because he played twice last week, but it wasn't on the main cast probably then, because I was just looking up the stats for last week.
Yeah.
So I guess you didn't see him for that reason, but
Exactly.
he did actually play.
I mean, he
But
does
it's good
play,
to
but we
see him
haven't
on
had
the
chance
screen. Yeah,
of actually
it's good to
broadcasting him.
See him on the screen again and actually see what's happening.
Peruvian flag in the distance helps.
Yeah, very
little bit.
flat, sandy. Should put you to the north.
Is there an Ecuador flag next to it? Are we going back to borders? I couldn't quite tell, but I think there might have been.
Oh, did you spot something? Because
I'm getting good at flags. That's what I'm
but
getting
you're
good
good
at
at
now.
spotting those.
Yeah, apparently.
That's what but it is too mountainous on the border between Ecuador and Peru for that to be possible.
Yeah.
But it is a
Might have been a
province
regional
border
flag
road.
instead. They're
It's a
both
province
that
border.
right on top of each other. 4 points of damage within the same kilometer mark.
Yep, not many roads up the north. Especially if you line it up. It's maybe 2 or 3 roads left. It's a very good chance you end up in the same place. As we go over to this round, we are in Spain. 8 crosses on the pedestrian walk sign. Looks a bit more... Does it actually? I had a northern vibe, but now that I've seen
Looks a
Sheena's
bit
screen...
more...
It's like
I like
always
that.
when I try to make a guess sound and they pan to the other direction and it looks completely different and I'm like, should I finish the sentence?
You didn't finish your sentence, so you're alright. You're safe. Don't worry. Don't worry.
but-
I'll tell you one thing. It looks warm. It looks
does.
like at the time of filming, it's 40 plus degrees.
It is, and it looks pretty open as well, which you usually get around Zaragoza or Valladolid.
Sheena found a mark, like a road indicator. Not sure how much he's going to be able to use it for, but maybe something. At least from as soon as he found it, he instantly opened up his map. We'll see if that's paying off. No, frustration on the face there. I think he knew. Something tells me that he had all the intel he needed off of the road sign that he saw, but he just couldn't, he couldn't find the location in time.
Yeah, it looks like in hindsight, it made sense for him to be there, but
Exactly.
unlucky.
Those are the frustrating ones. I could only imagine the ones where you feel like, I know I should have won that. Sign leading to Johannesburg, meaning, of course, you're not in Johannesburg. Probably just able to get
That is
there.
true. I mean, there are a lot of
highway.
big cities around Johannesburg.
True.
So these could still have a sign to Johannesburg on them. If you look at the map on Sheena's screen right now, he's swapped up. He heard me talking and he just panned away from it right when I was about to talk about it. But you can see a lot of big label towns around it.
Yep.
But they both are in beta right now. It does line up with the grid as well. Now we have the bridge in front. Sheena is using that. He does spot it and he should be on the 5K right now. We see the bridge in front of him.
Go. 42 meters off. Solid playing coming through from the Japanese player. It's only going to amount to 6 damage, but still, we love the 5Ks when we get them.
We do indeed, and we are in India now. Seems like. I'm not sure if that pole was... We passed it pretty quick, but it looked like a Madhya Pradesh pole to me. I am not sure if it was.
A lot of
But
info.
we have information here.
If you can read
Not
the
in
text,
Latin.
that is. They both found the same one. They're on each their side of it.
Yep, we have, I guess, pretty far
Enough
east
info.
in Madhya Pradesh from Ammani, so
Yeah.
maybe that's confirming it. Sheena, however, pretty far west. It is a big state.
It's All the way on the other side.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I think he was, I mean, not necessarily in 5k territory, but he was pretty much on point. And then, as they usually do in the last couple of seconds, they'll go click, 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 click. And he actually actively moved further away from where it ended up being the right location. So, could have been even more detrimental. Maybe even B game, honestly, with how close Sheena was initially. But Ammani gets to stay alive to see round 7.
Could have definitely ended there. However, we get to see this round. We are in the Philippines. We have a lot of trikes. Trikes are a very good clue to use in Philippines because there are a lot of region-specific ones based on how they're built. But it's a lot. You have to learn a lot. But if you learn it, it can come in very, very handy. But what's also helping in the Philippines is usually the province names. You see them all over the place. We have 82 provinces, I think, in the Philippines. So with that given, it can rule down the area as well. It seems like we have it on Sheena's screen. I cannot read it. It's a bit too small on my end.
Ammani is going all the way up
he got
towards the north, and Sheena is going to be right.
That will definitely be game with 4 times damage in a big country like the Philippines.
Great guess on Sheena. You know what I love? It's for the most part, Japanese players are usually very humble in both in victory and defeat in these type of games. But I love it when you see that even then, like Sheena couldn't quite contain himself because it was a really, really good guess. It was like, yeah, there was trying to be humble, but still share the excitement. It was great to see some emotion out of Sheena, who usually just remains super cool and calm all the way through. Very excited for that win there.
There is a reason to be happy, especially if you are late into the game and just want to have it off. If all the pressure builds up, you just want to have that sweet victory. And therefore, it's very fair for him to feel that relief and be happy about it.
For sure.
We are going over to the no-move game. We are in far north Argentina. It looks very lush green. We have this, what I call Corrientes Road. Very common in Corrientes State province. But it is a bit further north. I would have probably guessed where Ammani guessed. But a nice commitment from Sheena. We know Sheena is pretty good in Argentina. I've seen a lot of great Argentina guesses from Sheena. Not just only in the World League, but also before that.
Yeah.
I knew Sheena is a great player. You know, I had to study him a little bit before I played in the World Championship. I did look at his game summaries, I did check out what Sheena's good at, and I saw some insane scores in Argentina from him. So I knew
intimidating.
Maybe on Argentina rounds, you know, if it happens that I play against him, I should be cautious. But yeah, we move on to this round, which looks like Mexico to me.
Yeah, you got the...
Oh, we have Ammani's Plunk on it already, yep.
Yeah.
Short plates.
Pole there. Isn't it octagon pole on the right side there?
Should be.
I think it is. I think it is. That's at least usually my tell. For all the noobs out there.
Camera quality is usually more common in the northern half of Mexico.
See, 2 seconds to go. Taking their dear time here. What are we getting? It is Mexico. Ooh, correctly so. And both equally foul as they wave to one. I love this. The fact they're looking at the correct location from a distance, stood there hand in hand. A little casual wave to one another, both wishing they were somewhere else.
Yep. I mean, that was nothing to predict that they both end up in the same city, given how non-distinct it was.
Again, it's the fact of like them being trained from the same school of GeoGuessr, and therefore usually their vibes sending them in same directions.
Definitely. This time I can tell the season. We are in Kazakhstan. It is definitely fall season. And with that given, we should be in that eastern pocket right there where they both end up around Seme and Oskaman.
See, Ammani, first one to log in once again. It's early days, these rounds. They are allowed to pretty much run all the way out to the end of it. Sheena still micro adjusting his position. The whale jumping around the map. And close here once again, but both within the region. Damage is minimal.
And we move over to this round. Gives Indonesia vibes off the bat. With that car, I'm not sure. sure. The architecture is also weird. I thought of Kalimantan or Sulawesi here. Maybe Sulawesi is more likely with that yellow tag on the pole, very commonly found in Sulawesi.
That's exactly where Sheena is going, at least initially, looking to go even further south.
Yep, they are scanning, maybe trying to find that body of water they have next to them. If
There's...
work that
a pretty
out,
good...
especially with the land.
Yeah, exactly. They have a pretty good inkling of the bay, or whatever it may be that they're stood in. And see land on the other side, trying to line it up with the compass, see what they got working for them. So they're both going to log in on the very southeastern tip of Bhutan Island, or at least close there too. But there you have it. Sheena once again. Almost
Very
with the 5k.
Very good read of that body of water and how it's aligned.
Yeah, definitely.
For good sign. It's not only finding it, you always have to imagine it in your head first, how it has to look on the map, and then you also have to find it. So combining both those two is a skill you don't learn in a matter of just a couple days. It does take time. So very good from Sheena there. And now we are back in Argentina, and I've mentioned it already. This, however, looks like more newer coverage. A lot of releases happened in 24 in Argentina. Is it one of the new stuff? Even in 25 already we have new Argentina coverage. Yep, it was around there.
Sheena is playing an incredible game right now. I mean, you can't really fault ammani too much because he's not that far off with his guesses. But Sheena sits close on all of them. So far flawless here in this one too. All the way through round 5 now into round 6 we go.
Round 6 indeed. 3.5 damage already. We are in the US, I think. These poles look more American rather than Canadian, I think. However, the vegetation looks more like, especially with a big mountain, I thought it could be British Columbia, maybe. But the infrastructure and everything going on around does look more like the US.
Well, plenty of locations to go with. The entire borderline seems selectable, at least the western part of it. Ammani is set right on the line. Not sure where to commit to, and yet another round where the timer is going to run all the way out.
We have transformers looking towards the roads, which is a clue for British Columbia as well. So I have very mixed feelings now. Okay, it was just the US. I cannot blame Ammani at all for clicking on the border there.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of stuff speaking for the US. And on the other hand, there was other stuff speaking for British Columbia there.
Right on the border, or as close as can be. 700 damage worth to Ammani as we go from mountains into the vast flat landscapes of at least what Ammani thinks to be Canada.
Yep, Saskatchewan is, again, a default guess here by the looks with how sandy it is, with those slight rolling hills. But overall, a general flatness. Gravel road as well, all those three things combined is something you see a lot in Saskatchewan, especially in the southwest, where they both did end up with their guesses.
Definitely. Let's see here, round 8. Time moves slowly, but from one flat landscape into a mountainous one this time around, though no trees at all. Plenty of bushes. And outside of that, very desolate. This could, if we remove the road, this could be like a, what do you call it, a robot shot from another planet.
Yep, and this is the type of round. Yeah, why is there a deer in the middle of nowhere?
I don't know. It's just chilling on the middle of the road.
There's nothing going on around. Yeah, got kind of lost.
Yeah, I think so.
He made it back to where he belongs to, but. Yeah, this should be Argentina with how open it is, because this landscape can also happen in Peru. But with how open it is, I feel like that would be weird for Peru maybe, because the valleys in Peru are a bit tighter than this, not that far open. So they both end up in very far north. Ammani hovering over Peru considering it, but he
there
was
again.
right. But
All
once
Ammani
again,
can do is be frustrated. He's
Sheena
getting...
is just getting so many Argentina rounds, and I've already said
That's
it.
the thing.
He's just too good at it.
I mean, all he can do is being frustrated on the side of Ammani. He's getting all of his guesses at 4k plus, but Sheena is just completely untouchable. 9 rounds in, and he's still flawless.
Yeah, that is very impressive stuff. This should be Quebec, if it's Canada. No.
Ammani went New Brunswick. Sheena is hovering over Maine.
It's
You say Quebec.
It should be Maine then. The Transformer speaks for New Brunswick. The Insulator speaks for Nova Scotia. Okay, it was New Brunswick with the Insulator to the road.
Sheena,
That's
look
happened.
at that. That's massive damage
And
come through. It's just 200 kilometers off, and Sheena knew it instantly. Like, oh no, that should have been mine. I do not want to let Ammani back in this game.
I mean, even though we had the Insulator towards the road, which is more of a thing for Nova Scotia or Quebec, Ammani still committing for New Brunswick is something I have to shout out.
Elotrus. Round number 10, Sheena gets Japan.
He does get Japan.
Is it scripted? We've seen it before. We've seen it before. I think it was Karania that got an Australia round in round 10 in one of his games. We'll see now if Sheena can make the most of it here.
Yeah, I think it is Toyama. At least it's that region of Japan, because those striped horizontal stickers on the pole are specific to that region, and they both will know it. So Ammani will know it as well.
Well, statistics
However,
say that Ammani should be better.
Sheena is still considering further west of that region.
He's got the lead.
If he commits there, and it actually is downtown Toyama.
It is!
And it is! With 5.5, it will not be enough. It is so close.
No!
All three of us. You see Ammani leaning in. You see Sheena being scared. I'm getting hyped up. Not even close.
300 points. The frustration which could have sent us into an NPC is instead gonna be Ammani going away with nothing. What a game. Wow.
Toby, we need bigger multis. We need bigger multis. I'm making so many wrong shouts today, and I'm saying it's that game, and it's not
wild
at all.
That's
but
wild.
Yeah.
So we went to this game because there were some issues with the Karania and Lindy matchup. They're still waiting to get the NPC game going. Those issues are still there. The admins are working with them to try and sort things out. So what we'll do in the meantime is take a quick break, get some drinks, get some water, do whatever we have to, and then come back, get ready for some more GeoGuessr.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea. GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup? Denmark? Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings. World-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably, I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals. Welcome back, everyone, after that quick break. As you can see, Lendley and Karania are still undergoing their match. I believe they have started that game now, but we are going to head on over to Ammani versus debre. Now, we just saw Ammani almost swing it back against Sheena, but fell 250-some points short. We thought for a second it was going to be enough, but not quite, so it would have been impressive for him to win in Japan against Sheena. But it was not written in the stars for that to happen. And you know, just now, we get debre against Ammani instead. Talk to me about these two players.
Yeah, debre against Ammani, both players who are very close to the community, who have been in the community for quite a long time. I know them both very well, and also for a long time. So happy to see them play here. And maybe we'll also give more insights about them. We have the stats here.
Yeah.
debre with a higher win rate. Debre is really playing very, very strong lately. Ammani was struggling a little bit. Especially on the last game, he didn't have it easy against Sheena.
And as you're saying, debre is kind of becoming notorious for just having the most niche, or not necessarily niche, but like his brain just has space for that much more like specific knowledge than so many other places. We're talking phone codes. We're talking all these types of, like, there's 2,000 different ones, but being able to differentiate between it all in the heat of the moment, debre is the master of that.
Definitely. It will also definitely come in clutch on moving games. debre wasn't, I mean, usually he wasn't really the moving player. But I feel like, especially with the format, how the league is being held, and also other previous competitions, you are more or less forced to play moving and get bad at it because it's such a big impact. Yeah. Especially with it playing as the first mode. You just need to be good at it. And I feel like debre really committed to that and really tried to get good at it. And I've seen him winning a lot of games where this niche knowledge really brought him the victory a lot of times. Exactly. Of course, you always have to sacrifice something if you focus on learning that.
True.
But as someone who was already good at no move and NMPZ, I think that made debre a very, very strong and scary player.
Oh, we saw a phone number. Is that going to be enough? 3731 is the phone code. Instantly zoomed into Katan. Not that I've ever heard of that city before, but maybe debre has. We'll see if he's going to be right in his assumption. So Ammani, nearby vicinity as well. One city off to the east, 61 kilometers out. That is incredibly impressive.
Yep. We had some address, I think, maybe underneath. I don't know if debre saw that. Or if it was just a vibe guess, if it's just the area code and then clicking the next biggest city. Something like that, but he was close nonetheless. That did work out for him. We are in Greece here with those wooden poles, with those frames. Should only really see that in Greece and Europe.
Yeah, Ammani trying to put on some pressure here. Get that guess in. See what he can make of it. As debre, it's in and around the same area. Equal distance to the target. It's going to be minimal damage come through. Just under 100 at that. But debre remaining flawless. I feel like for Ammani, this is a very similar situation to the game against Sheena just a couple of moments ago, where he's actually not playing all that bad a game, but his opponent is just, I mean, having the best time of their life.
Yep, that's really with many games in this league, where you always have the players being somewhat close, but it takes so much more practice to just be a little bit closer, but that's really what matters. That's really what matters in the end. Most of the times, I should say.
Yeah. Unless
you hit those multis on the right time, which can also happen, but, you know, over a long span, over a long course, you need to be consistent. And we are in Brazil here. We have those ladder poles. It looks a bit more south in the country to me for now. Maybe Mato Grosso. We could be on the border to Paraguay or something here.
That's where debre is at least. Yeah, now he's putting the marker down as well, just north of Paraguay.
Yeah, the road really looks... I mean, just how the road is built is very common in that area of Brazil.
Yeah. There you go. Minimal damage of that, once again. But Ammani just cannot find an opening. Debre's defenses are too big, too strong. As we sit 5 rounds in, Debre still flawless, but Ammani staying over 4,500 too.
Indeed, and we are in Nigeria here. They both have the same signs. They both literally went the same direction and looked at the same sign so far. This time, Debre looked at another sign and Ammani didn't find that one. Does it say? It's saying the state. It's saying Cross River State. Which is in the south, I think, southeast.
You'd have to imagine.
That's also where the Cross River National Park is.
Yeah, Debre was looking to go even further north than where it was before. It was all the way down by the coastline up to go further north. And there you have it, Cross River National Park. It's up there too, remains flawless. As Ammani now sits at just over half health. Let's see route number 6. That's where we're headed.
Yep, and there was, again, a very good example for someone where you can...
Wait a minute.
Tell...
Wait a minute.
Give it to us.
We're in Denmark. That's all I was gonna say initially. I didn't see the city Dommerby. I do not know where this is. And since I don't, I would have to imagine that... Oh, I hate not knowing. That's the worst. Yeah. No.
Oh, we have
You know,
Viborg.
obviously coastal. Viborg, okay, we're in northwestern Jutland. Oh, no, central, I should say. Skive is exactly, yeah, Debre found Skive already. 2 kilometers from Skive. Centrum is further south. Mighty further south. You can see it on your screen. Skive, Viborg, you have both the signs right there.
He's right now. It's pretty big as well.
Go south, Ammani.
Oh no, he just ignores it.
No, you can see them. They're there. I mean, we're talking 15 kilometers distance, but they're right on.
It's
That's
still
the annoying
gonna
one.
be annoying for him. Yeah, he does realize it is pretty big. Usually, if
should
you
have been the
see a
10K.
city, if you see a city that's 2 kilometers off your location, you just assume it's a small city. You don't assume it's a big city that shows up.
Exactly. Debre, though, giving us the pleasure of a Danish 5K. You like to see it, so thank you, buddy, for that one. Love to see it.
Now, from a fairly small country to a very big country, we are in Russia. Some signage. It's saying Yekaterinburg on that sign. But we have a guess locked in from Ammani already. He did try to put the pressure on, but Debre got two very good signs, and this game does really showcase that Debre is very, very good at moving. I was talking about
7 rounds in flawless game. I mean, there's nothing you can do when you're Ammani. I don't even fault him for trying to get a quick guess in, because in the off chance that Debre doesn't get crucial info early, maybe he can swing it back his direction. But that one, there was no world in which Debre was ever going to lose that game.
Yep, definitely. You could really tell that Debre is a moving player rather than Ammani, because he got to the information quicker, and he got to the information at all. In Nigeria, you could see him zooming on every possible sign.
Yeah.
And I saw that Ammani was ignoring a couple, and that was really the case where Debre was allowed to pick up a lot of points.
Yeah.
So you can tell Debre is way more confident in that mode. Really knows how to move around and what to look at. But now we are no move. Let's see if Ammani can pull off something off here.
Let's see.
In the Philippines with that octagonal metal pole. Not to be mixed up with the octagonal concrete poles in Mexico. In the Philippines you have octagonal metal poles.
There you go.
That's a good
Finally,
commitment.
Ammani getting something going. 2 rounds in a row. It's small points, sure, but it's a lead. It's a lead over a player who just flawlessed you in 7 rounds. Let's see if Ammani can keep this going.
Yep, and we are in Australia. We are driving left. We have those bollards, not to be mixed up with the Turkish bollards. They look kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
And as a region guess, I thought we are somewhere in that span between South Australia and Northern Territory.
I mean, Debre is borderlining South Australia and Queensland.
Maybe it's recency bias because I've looked at the area lately, but they are both on that road.
I don't even think it was border, like a border hitch. It was literally the exact spot they wanted to go for. And as you can see here, both very close to target. Debre waves. Ammani takes time to think, do I want to wave back to the guy that just flawlessed me? I don't know about that. But wave did came through in the end. As debre now sends it quickly to Sweden. Ammani, first one to log in though.
Yep, I do agree. It looks Nordic. Don't have a strong Norway vibe, don't have a strong Finland vibes. You just slam it. Sweden in that case.
Yep.
Really hard to tell sometimes. I mean, if it's really far south, you get the vibe. But if you get a little bit more inland, it can be quite hard to reach against that country as well. In that span, at least. The central southern span. Now we
can.
Over to
It's now
this
okay.
zone.
Predictions big time in debre's favor here. We'll see if maybe Ammani can upset that into round 5. Our scores are, I mean, as tight as can be with a 3 times multiplier. Big damage can come through. But what are you thinking here, Chidotris?
I mean, it is definitely Indonesia. We have that license plate with 3 white sections. And we have oil palm trees, which puts you more towards Sumatra, Kalimantan. And with the red soil, I like the Sumatra, I guess. It was North Sumatra, though. Quite hard to get the right region within there, but they both end up with a safety hedge in West Sumatra. Not much happening there.
Not wanting to risk too much here, Ammani would have appreciated the extra couple of points gone his way, but not quite to be this time around. As we go into round number 6, instantly Ammani looks towards Brazil. What sends him to Brazil in this one?
Anything specific is hard to tell. I mean, that big blue water tank that we see there, that is a very Brazilian thing, combined with the White House and the orange tiles.
There's some text on it too. I'm not sure what it says. I couldn't quite see in time, but
it's more like a combination of a lot of things. And then we have those palms with, I don't know what they are called, but the leaves are like fans.
Yeah.
Those are very common up there in the north. That's also why they both ended up there. Just to clarify how that happened, I assume they used the palm trees.
Makes good sense. From a flawless round, or game from debre, now Ammani and debre walking hand in hand down towards the 5,000 point mark. As we get ourselves into round number 7, fully tied, and a forest road is all they have to work with. This could be, I mean, I know you probably know what country we're in, but I feel like this could be a multitude of places.
It should be the US. Again, we have that car front rather than the car back.
Yeah, I mean, Ammani just went to Poland. Now he's going back to... There's a lot of jumping around here.
Wait, do we have a car? I thought I saw a car front. I'm not sure. I mean,
Debre's
if you look at the panning of them, it is really hard.
Debre is trying to 360 no-scope this feed.
Yep.
Like, he's spinning around like a crazy person. Locks in East Coast. Ammani is back towards Slovakia. I'm not sure where his marker is put down
we
right
actually
now.
don't have a car.
He's in
Looks like
Poland.
we have a car front.
Oh, and it's in Wisconsin. It's all the way there, and that's gotta be game indeed. It is almost 10,000 damage, and debre comes out 2-0.
I'm not sure if that was maybe a black car, and therefore the tint was really hard to tell. With the pavement also being this dark, that made Ammani confused. There definitely something. I can see why he switched to Poland there.
Yeah. And
especially on a forward location like that, and you don't have any road lines to work with, therefore it's really hard to differentiate between Europe and the US sometimes.
Usually you can tell on debre when there are situations like this where he's on point and someone is a continent off, that he'll go like, whoa, like some big, like, whoa, I got surprised by you being so much off. But this time around, it looked more like a, yeah, I can see why you guess Poland. That would have been, I could have probably ended up there as well. But as you were saying, maybe it was the small car sign. Maybe it wasn't like just a vibe guess, but nonetheless a solid 2-0 from debre, who continues to be very what do you call it, very consistent in his games. But we're now gonna, I would let you break this one down, Jules, but I'm hearing the music change. We gotta go straight into Mada Anu. Talk to me about these guys.
Let's do it. Let's jump over.
Sprinting through now.
Mada versus Anu. Mada had a strong week last week.
Yeah.
He did pick up 2 wins.
Banana
However, it was both in a
penguin.
2-1 fashion. You know, of course you're happy about the win, but surely he was drive to get that 2-1. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was talking about Mada, not Anu. I'm sorry.
Anu, the
Mada got
banana.
2 wins and both with a 2-1.
Banana,
where's-
penguin, Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's pretty much what he is rocking.
Yeah.
Mada keeping it classy. Got the Italian glasses on, the football hat. With a way bigger win rate here, 50% on his board. And as I said, he is coming out of 2 wins last week. Arno did lose a game last week, so maybe that's some motivation for him
Yeah.
to strike back here. Arno had a rough start into the league, but lately he did get to win a couple games. So if he keeps that momentum, he can make it a bit harder for Mada, maybe. Harder for Mada. Didn't plan to do that one.
Love it when it works out. There's definitely enough weeks left for Arno to rock up that leaderboard. We'll see if that's going to happen or not as we get this game going. Round number 1, game number 1 into, I guess, the Nordics.
You are correct, and with short dashed lines, it is Sweden. You had it on your tongue. I know you were about to say it.
I said Nordics. It's fine.
It is, yeah, that's pretty much how you distinguish between.
And now you have the
those
road
if you
info
have
as well.
short-dashed lines.
119.
Yep. Yes,
Does he
somewhat
find it?
ordered, but
No.
not that easy to find.
Yeah.
No
No
help.
big
He gets to
cities
better
to go
signs
by.
as well.
You have Rud, which literally just means clearing. So, I mean, there's quite a few of those. Not gonna get a whole lot with it, but Arno, oh no! Arno was down south,
What
but
made him
flicks
switch?
north.
I'm not sure what he saw, or maybe it was another 100 road to the north, and he thought it's. I don't know. It's hard to
Letting the emotes do the talking for him. That was a big... Wow, okay, they were practically next to each other, but Arno, last second change up. We've seen it so many times in tournaments past where you get that that half second of second guessing yourself. It can cost you so many points.
And we have a lot of information here. Again, we have the couple buttons, or the couple button on the sign.
Mada. Another round gone his way, rocking the AC Milan shirt. We've had, honestly, quite surprisingly many Italy rounds today. We'll see if Mada gets blessed with any of them for himself. So we head on into round number 3. Both of them instantly looking down towards the south side of Australia.
Yeah, I would say the most known town on here is Mount Gambier, which is in the southern pocket of South Australia. And next to that we also have the A66 sign, which will give you the road, and now you just line it up and give us the 10k. Surely we'll get a 10k here.
Ooh. Are we getting it? The first 10k of the day.
Let's see. I'm hoping for it.
Let's see. Mada has a chance to readjust. He does readjust last second.
Not enough to fight
Yeah.
Ado.
Nope, not gonna be there. They're both gonna be off by a bit. Nonetheless, when you're in the 4900s, you, regardless if you're one guy or the other, you can be pretty satisfied with your guess there.
Definitely. Will be enough.
Now
So we go
into
on.
round 4 we go, which is a good sign for Mada up ahead. Highway info, everything you really need here.
We are in Germany. He stopped a little bit too early. It's hard
Yeah,
to
go
read.
further.
I can't even read the number. Is it 29? I think so.
says-
I mean, or
yeah.
27. I mean, he's
20
between the 29 and 27. Those out there around Bremen.
Go further. I don't think
we
Arnold
also
has the
have some
sign
area
yet.
codes.
Nope, he's looking. Or does he? I'm not sure if he saw it earlier. He's further towards Hamburg.
Yeah, I was a bit more committed to Mada's screen there.
Yeah.
But he is at least in the north.
Even, I mean, that's the good thing on Arno's side is that Mada had effectively all the info he needed to get that good guess in. Arno was more of a, not a vibe guess, but didn't have the same amount of intel, so to be lacking info and still get that close is pretty impressive.
Yep, definitely. Impressive. And now we are in the Americas. You always love to hear that. Okay, we have speed limit, so we are in the US.
Now more
And
big
we
info
have
coming
some
in.
highway signs. Downtown Urbana, Highway 45 intersecting with the 150. Don't really know these town names. Mahomet, Champagne.
Nonetheless, now it's all about trying to line up the roads. They're both in and around Illinois, hovering around there. Mada moving further towards the east. They're just scanning right now. This is full-on road scanning.
Trying to find the 45 or the 150. I assume the 45 will show up before the 150.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2-digit one, but...
Scanning roads, trying to find them exactly, and someone did it. That's Mana. Sat on point. Again, I mean, both
huge.
Close or somewhat, but 200 plus kilometers off. Actually, as a matter of fact, I thought it said 20 kilometers off. That's my mistake. Anu off by such an extent. But Mana now looking to potentially flawless this one.
Yep. We are in Hungary. Again, we off the bat have a road number, which is definitely findable in Hungary. You could go for the scan. We have the 85. We also have a couple more town names. I would make those. Yeah, Mada is doing those extra steps to get more information.
Yep.
However, Anu is just blindly...
That's
I mean,
thing.
he has some town names there as well.
Mada knows that he needs minimal damage to come out victorious here.
Yep.
Or minimal distance, I should say, to the target. So if we can get just 10 kilometers closer, that could potentially cost a lot on the side of Anu with how these multipliers are stacking. Anu, though, this time around, had all the info he needed to get the luck in early. And that's 1,000 damage done to Mada.
Definitely. He did spend a little bit more time on just scanning the road number, whereas Mada was looking for a little bit more information, because you never know, maybe it's saying a big town name at the other exit of the roundabout. But in this case, it was better to just scan for it and get it quick.
Yeah. By the way, chat, you probably all know at this point, but I can tell you that Lindley did win over Karania 2-1. We were waiting for the official confirm from the admin team, and I got it 7 minutes ago. I just didn't read my message. So to all the Lindley fans out there that were sat there frustrated alongside him that the game didn't work the way that they wanted it to, Lindley did beat Karania. Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna GG in Italy? No, he is not. Anu again. Able to come out on top. He had already said GG earlier. I think Anu was expecting to lose that one as soon as he saw the country. But that's why you commit. That's why you keep playing for rounds like these.
It's definitely striking back with those last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got to any information there. It was on Anu's screen always hard to keep up with what both of them see. But now they definitely have the both signs they are looking at. And they will both work with that. Does it say Kitui on it? I'm not sure.
Can't
but
tell.
They both are around it.
Yep. Minimal damage. We know what that means. Stacking up those multipliers. And you can see the frustration in Mada's face. It makes perfect sense. He knows it's so little that's needed for him to just get this over with. But the more we're stacking those multipliers, the more chances we're giving Anu to claw back into it. Mada just wants this done with.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, on a moving game, you may not be that afraid of the high multis, because usually the players will end up in somewhat the same region, but still, of course, big factor. And if we spawn somewhere where you don't have any information, it can still be scary for Mada, but for now it's still looking good. We are in, seems like the UK.
Mada hopping into Wales.
Yeah, we have double language on the signs, so it's combined with Welsh on the sign. A lot of information, maybe a bit too much information. You don't really know what to work with.
Exactly. Which sign do I go for? Which highway do I look for? There's like 20 to pick from. In the end, you end up not picking any because the timer is running out. Let's see if Mada gets it. The last second readjustments gets him closer. But is the 40 kilometers going to be enough to do 500 damage? Yes, exactly. It will be. Just that. Mada. It got scary for a bit. Anu was clawing back. But you will take the moving game.
Yep. Anu did indeed not make it that easy in the end for Mada, even though it looked like it was dominant for Mada first. He didn't make it that easy.
Scary stuff, scary
Now,
stuff.
this time, just being a little bit closer, finally. Finally, we didn't hype it up for no reason. It was indeed enough damage for Mada to secure the first win in this match. But we know it's a best of 3.
Yeah.
We go over to no move starting off. A location like this, we have a lot of eucalyptus trees, I think. Yeah, maybe. Yep, looks like it. So yeah, Australia does make sense, especially with the sun being towards the north, which will tell us that we are in the southern hemisphere.
I don't know if it's just my brain remembering things in a wonky way, but I feel like a lot of the rounds, if not almost all, of the rounds that we've had in Australia are always in and around Adelaide. Like, to some extent, it's rare that we go northwest. Obviously, there's less coverage there. Ooh, Arno is looking to go New Zealand. Hold that thought for a second.
Okay. It didn't. I mean, I would be surprised if this is New Zealand.
Let's see.
That vibe.
Zooming out again. Arno, you have 5 seconds to work with. Mada can't make up his mind either. Now he's going to log in to try and commit to it. Arno stays in New Zealand. And it's going to be Tasmania.
Does make sense, yep. Always difficult to tell between Victoria and Tasmania, for me at least. But seems like Mada was also struggling to get the right vibe there, but he got the right country. Sometimes that is enough. That's good points. In the US we have those southern pines. Should be more towards the south. Especially with those reflectors, which are also more of a southern thing. Let's see something like Georgia here or Alabama. In that stretch, something like that.
Well, seems like Mada agrees with you as he's pretty much hedging those 2 states right now. We'll see if he gets anything to give him more info now. Jumping up towards South Carolina.
I don't know if you get those reflectors in South Carolina. Maybe you do. I am not 100% sure. I mean, based on the looks, it can work, definitely.
Very well could. Now 10 seconds left to work with. Again, both taking their dear time here. No one's trying to get those guesses in early. Mada going further north by the second. Arno going further west than it was. In fact, in South Carolina.
Nice
good guess on the side of Mada, who once again swings big. 2 rounds in and 4,300 damage done to Arno.
Yeah, very, very strong guess from Mada there. The southern stretch is pretty long. But going all the way to the east of South Carolina and being right is impressive. Let's move over to this round. And these bollards are Quebec specific. So we should be somewhere in Quebec. With how mountainous it is, we are probably more, on that eastern side. Either towards New Brunswick.
Arno's running up the coastline. Going towards the north. Mada stayed down towards the south.
Small river.
This down there. Mada closer, but and thrown in the air. Not sure if he wasn't quite satisfied with his own guess there, what it was, but I mean, had the right idea of the road leading south, just one highway over.
Ho ho ho!
What are you thinking? Talk to me,
Love
Geologist. That sound, what does it mean?
It's turkey. That's the sound you can hear me say.
That's the turkey sound whenever Geologist goes ho ho ho.
You see that mountain ridge to the northwest. So I thought it could be the ridge west in Mardin that we are looking at.
Okay.
Which is southeastern Turkey on the Syria border. Mada's right on it. The ridge is west. Oh, okay. He does. Okay, he knows the ridge. E5 good.
Does he have it lined up?
Is my prediction.
Let's see if he does. It's just on the south side. Great guess from Mada representing AC Milan, and that's going to be enough to get him a 2-0 victory. Flawless at that. Great game here from Mada. Solid from start to finish. Arno really had no chance of turning this one around.
I am proud of Mada. I am proud. Him recognizing the Mardin Ridge, which isn't the easiest ridge to recognize, especially from that distance. You just barely saw it.
Incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. Great finish We have had so many games today that have gone on to round 10 that have really had us, like, it's been more marathon than sprint, but this time around, Mata knew what to do, knew how to claim it quickly, and a lot of back-to-back great guesses from him to be able to bring it home. Here we get to see the score lines of the games of today. As we said before, Lenley did, in the end, beat Karania 2-1. Yannick Flyme finished with a 2-1 score. And then looking at the games that have been taking place simultaneously to what we just casted. Flyme taking on Swan Gambit, beating him. And then Sheena coming back, winning against Pan after he beat Ammani. So 6 points for Sheena on the day. Great effort by him.
Yeah, definitely very, very solid day. But
yeah,
at the same time, I don't see any real upset surprise. So everything, I would say, did go as expected. Still great gameplay, still great games. Doesn't mean it's bad. You don't necessarily need upsets.
Let me just... Clement beating Consus 2-1. You don't call that an upset?
Oh, wait, I forgot that one.
Clement beating Captain 2-1. You don't call that an upset?
It was so early in the game. Sure, the Clement Consus one was actually an upset, yeah.
A lot of GeoGuessr has been played today, but I agree with you. It's been a wild one. It's been a wild one. I feel like one thing we can say for today's games is the seed, aka the actual locations the players have been given, have been incredibly difficult. There's been so many 50-50s. There's been so many situations where, I mean, I can say dumb things because I don't always know where we are. But you seemed confused. The players ended up being like over 1,000 kilometers off. There's been so many of those really, really hard tells today.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe that's also the reason why I didn't feel like there was an upset. Because it really just came down to one guess.
Could have gone either way.
So therefore, it didn't feel like they dominated. I mean, of course, respect to them. I gotta respect the win. I gotta respect them for being right at the right time. But it just didn't feel like an upset because it wasn't over the course of all the matches. It was more like 1 or 2 guesses that really made the decider there.
Exactly. Incredible games all through the day. So now let's hop on over, get an interview going with the AC Milan supporter himself. Mata, welcome, welcome, welcome. Congratulations on what seemed to be a little scary moving game initially, but you came back and you claimed it in no move. How do you feel?
I don't know if I should hear the casters.
Oh, he doesn't.
Oh, Mata can't hear us. We'll just, it's all good. Do you hear us now? We're waiting for Mata to hear us.
Waiting.
We'll dance for a bit. Woo woo, sick transitions. There we are, back with us. Great to see you, Mata. Lovely to have you on board. Loved your insights. I always love to get words in from the pros, sharing everything that they know about GeoGuessr. Clearly, Mata had a lot to say there. No, we're kidding. It's not his fault. We're getting everything up and running. But before we get him back, Zero, just is there anything in particular you want to hear from Mata?
I will definitely ask him about the Turkey round, of course.
Yeah,
if he got it, if he recognized the pickup coverage or the ridge or what it was.
You know what we'll do? Since it's always me saying hello, welcome, blah, 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 this time around, you're the one in charge of the interview.
I am in charge of the interview.
Yep. So as soon as we come back with Mata on screen, I'll just lean back and not do anything, and it's all you.
Sure.
That's what we're doing.
You want me, I got you, Toby.
That's what we're doing. I could have done it before and not warned you and just sat there and stared and waited for you to talk, but that would have been really rude.
I would have talked at some point, but I would have waited a good couple of seconds.
Exactly. But this time around, I'll leave it up to you. Should we get the issue resolved and Mata back on screen, because we do want to hear from him. And also, I guess while we're waiting for him, I do just want to throw out the little shameless plug that I didn't before. In just about 7 minutes time, I am gonna go live over on my channel where I'll be talking to some GeoGuessr pros and effectively just be the halftime show between the first set of games that we have finished now and the second set of games starting. So if you can't get enough GeoGuessr in a day, you want to get a lot more, then feel free to join in for a Yap session after this broadcast is over. It's going to be a fun time. I'm going to have some people over. I'm going to have Gelotris, the main man, himself coming over and saying hi. I'm sorry that I didn't get this idea 16 weeks ago, because we could have made it kind of an ongoing thing, but I only thought of it last week. So yeah, so maybe for future weeks we can do something along the lines, because it's so much fun. We do an entire day of broadcast, you and I, or Siggy, he's been on here of course, as well. And then we get a chance to talk to the players, but it's always pretty quick. Like, we get a couple of questions each, and then we round off the broadcast. And I'm like, oh, there's so many of the other guys that I would have loved to talk to. Or like, oh, there's so many more questions I wanted to ask about how today went, you know? Those sort of things. And I think that's why that show could potentially be a good opportunity.
I do agree. It is going to be fun. And as you said, yeah, if we want a little bit of a longer of a yap session, I think it doesn't work here. So if you guys out there want to get maybe a bit more insights about us, about the game, maybe also ask questions, because it's always hard to get into questions.
Yep, chat questions all day long. That's a big part of what I want to do. Because again, I'm only here because you guys, the community, were so kind as to allowing me in through the gates. And so a lot of me being here is credit to the viewers, the players, everyone out there, and I want to be able to show that support in return. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with the Mata interview. I think we are waiting to try and get it going, get it working. So we're working on Mata's audio issues, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back online. It would be kind of feels bad, man, if we couldn't. As we get a look here once again at the matches coming up later today. Starting off with Trishta against Orlando. And you can see that I don't need to mention all the names. I'm assuming you guys are watching on screen. A lot of interesting matches that will be taking place starting in exactly 4 hours. So no matter where you are in the world, it's pretty easy to do the math. 4 hours from now, all the next set of games will be starting. And if you want more GeoGuessr talk, join me on my channel after we are done here. It's going to be a fun time, I hope, for everyone included.
I am looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's going to be good fun. Any matches here? I know we talked about it a bit earlier. You're like a Trishta fan, but any matches here where you're looking at a matchup going, this could be an upset match?
Now I can make maybe a bit of a longer look at it. I mean, are we only talking about the mainstream?
No, just
games?
all of them.
Then I would say Harry and Oceanman is also up there. Because again, maybe it's personal bias, because I've been knowing Harry and Oceanman for a long time. They're also around the community. They both do content, GeoGuessr content. So you get a little bit more insights about them, you know, and therefore have another motivation to watch those games. So I think that one is also going to be a good game. The game before that, or at the same time, Moo Finbar, also a good one. Because, yeah, always love to see Finbar play. And Moo is also someone, like, always interesting. Moo is, I think, also some type of player who's always adapting his playstyle to location, because you don't associate Moo with any specific playstyle.
True.
So it's always a surprise to me. Therefore, I really like to watch Moo's games as well.
There you go. I think I talked to Moo early yesterday. I think Moo might be joining us later today as well. So we can get some, if you're there at the same time as him, maybe we'll get some good insights into Moo and how he's doing, how he's faring, because he's playing really well. Sat on the top echelon of the leaderboard alongside some of the best players in the world. I am getting word now that we are going to have to skip the interview with Mata. He was simply too excited. There were too many AC Milan fans stood outside his window going, "Rah!" for us to be able to hear anything. And therefore, unfortunately, we will not be able to get a listen in from him, which I guess effectively means that we are going to round off this show as is. It's been a great day. It's been a good show thus far. As I said, Geologists, we're gonna continue the yap. The yap must go on. So come on over and say hi. And just again, it's more laid back. It's not welcome to this show. It's just chilling, having a good time. Supporting what is an amazing GeoGuessr community. Any matches in particular to you, looking back at the day, Gelos, before we round off here, that really stood out to you?
Standing out, maybe now that you've mentioned earlier again, the consus versus Clement one. Something, because that was literally, even like before the match, you couldn't see that one coming, but also during the match, you couldn't see that one coming. True. Because it was always from consus side, and then Clement just strike 2 times. So really an interesting game. Maybe fits as a description for that game.
In 2 weeks, Clement has taken down Debre, Consus, and Captain. That's, I mean, from a player that was really struggling to get things going initially, That's that's one hell of a climb up that leaderboard, and hopefully, well, for him, we'll get to see him make it even further. It's always nice to have, I mean, knowing now that the finals are gonna be in Denmark. It would be great to have some Danish players actually make it through to the tournament as well. So Clement cheering for him as a Dane, fellow Dane, hoping to see him wave the banner come end of August in Denmark. But I'm gonna do something now that I never do because I'm never allowed to. But I'm gonna assume that I can say thanks for tuning in, because my production haven't told me that we can round off the show yet, but they're also not telling me not to. And since we've gone 4 minutes over, I'm just assuming, looking at production through the camera, that this means that the main broadcast is done for today. Production, help? No.
No messages as well.
But we'll hopefully Mata will tune in on the show over there then, and then I want you to get a chance to talk to Mata about that turkey round, because you seemed really excited about it, and there is the final confirm. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in to the main show. In just a minute we'll say whoop, and then whoop, come back up over on my channel, so make sure to tune in there in just a few. Until next time, go watch and play some more GeoGuessr.
Good.
Dear fans of GeoGuessr, it's time for us to explore the world. Come and support your favorite players as they fight it out in the virtual boxing ring. The prize? A ticket to the World Cup. This year's major locations are Japan, inside the iconic Tokyo Tower. United States at DreamHack Dallas, one of the largest gaming festivals in the world. And finally, Sweden at the newest gaming festival, Glitched, in Jönköping. Go to geoguessr.com/World Cup for more information. We will see you there.
I got a chance to see Blinky lift the trophy after that insane grand final. With 2025 right around the corner, I have an idea.
GeoGuessr 2025 World Cup? Denmark? Let me show you what Copenhagen has to offer. We have historic buildings, world-class dining. We got the best beer in the world. Presumably, I welcome you to Copenhagen and the KB Hall, the venue of the 2025 GeoGuessr World Cup Finals.